kind of feel bad turning the volume down on this one, because it's kind of a banger. Hello, folks, ladies and gentlemen, mine and others. Ladies, others, and gentlemen is how we should address everyone from now on. Ladies, gents, and all points in between, welcome to the Rogue Room. My name is Abigail Beck, your host for this evening. How are you doing? Thank you for the posture check and the hydration. And there is a cat sitting behind my chair. I don't know why he has taken to putting himself right behind my chair. It's not really the most convenient spot. If I have to pull out, he's like right there in the way. But at any rate, it's a day, it's a time for things and stuff. Anyway, a heretic, shall we define what a heretic is? A heretic is one of my favorite, aesthetically favorite games. I haven't actually played the thing all the way through. It's essentially Magical Doom, but that's not really what we're talking about. Although it is relevant. There you go, magic. Okay, so a heretic is someone who is a person believing in or practicing religious heresy. Similarly, so is an apostate. Both really cool terms for people who are exiled from the church, basically. Now, I was raised atheist, so I can't even call myself a heretic in the strictest sense. But there was a period in which I was almost converted to a church as a child. And being that I rebuked that whole notion, being that I rebelled against that entire thing, I am arguably a heretic in some fashion, so I'll take it. Yeah, Dragon Age definitely took apostate and ran with it, and kudos to them. It's great. I love the word, even if it sounds like prostate, but shut up. We're on the decaf, boys. Everyone, we're going to try to like reclaim gendered terms as gender neutral terms now. We're on the decaf, folks. Because I've been drinking entirely too much caffeine. There's about 150 milligrams of caffeine in my pre-workout, about the same in an energy drink, and I'm back on those fucking things. And I've been having like at least one large cappuccino a day. I gotta cull, man. I really gotta cull my caffeine intake. I've been consuming entirely too much. So we're bringing that down, folks. We're bringing that down. Kids at church were not very nice, so you stopped going to it. That's understandable, honestly. I can fully expect that church kids, given what they are generally taught, in a broad sense. I mean, we're hearing more and more about better churches, nicer churches, more accepting churches, but there is definitely still a slant towards exclusionary attitudes within the church by and large. So, yeah, I'm not surprised when I hear that kind of stuff. Kind of sucks, obviously, but here we are. Detroit, how you doing? Welcome in. What's going on? We were just talking about heresy, the church, and all that kind of nonsense. Which is not hugely related to anything, but it's something to start off with. How'd everyone's day go? How did everybody's day go? Where's my ring? We gotta get the ring in on this. This is a symbol. It's a symbol of my greatness. You know? It's funny how a religion that claims to be peaceful is so hateful. The only reason they would like it to be peaceful is if everybody subscribed to their religion and behaved exactly as they dictate that you do. They want peace by exterminating everyone that doesn't fit their worldview of peace, essentially. They do want peace, but only for the select few that abide the church's laws. You know, that's how that works. That's how it's always worked. Church has always been about either coercing people into it or exterminating people that disagree with it. It doesn't matter which church you're referring to, by and large. Any kind of organized religion is designed around control, manipulation, and domination at the end of the day. That's how religion works. Sorry to start off on such a dark topic. Good to see you again too, Detroit. Although I'm only seeing you as a line of text, but it's something, you know. Yeah, I've been having weekends off. I keep saying to myself that I'm going to start streams a little bit earlier, and I could have tonight very easily. I could have started a lot earlier. I could have started at 8, maybe even 7. I actually stopped to play a bit of Bloodborne this afternoon, got my ass thoroughly kicked by the Cleric Beast. Yes, the Cleric Beast. But, you know, I actually gave myself a moment of respite from everything else that's going on. Every other little bit of bullshit.
I see you've
Maria
brought
Tirada
guests.
raiding us.
Welcome,
Starting off the night with a raid.
friends.
Fantastic. Thank you so kindly. Let's get a bit of raid party hype lighting and all that kind of nonsense. Where's my party lighting? Give me my party lighting. Where is it? We got it. There we go. There we go. Raid lighting. Maria, how'd your stream go? Hello everyone, just a short visit today. For appointments must be attended, indeed. I hope the appointment goes well, Aurora. How have you been? Appreciate you being here. Hope you're well. Maria, Twitch has raids? I know. It's wild. It's crazy. It's unprecedented. Who would have guessed? Maria, what were you chatting about? Tell us all about it. No, I'm not beatboxing. Heck no. Goodness no, I'm not going to do that. As you can see from the title, we were about to get into... Well, we hadn't started just yet, but we were about to get into a bit of a discussion around self-worth and relationships. Because of a tweet that I saw today. And I thought I might start off things with that topic. Because I think there's a bit that I could say in that vein. But before we get into that. You interviewed a Russian in Esperanto. How did that go? What did you interview them about? You've been feeling really wonderful. Your best friend gendered you correctly, and it has really made you weak. That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear it. That's awesome. Can we get more correct genders? Correct gendering? Please? Yes, I do know about Shrek. Unfortunately. Drugs, COVID, veganism, Putin. So basically everything then. Legal or illegal drugs? That was an interesting discussion that I saw earlier. I can't... Actually, I think it was in the comments of my one of my YouTube videos. There were some people having a bit of a discussion around what is extreme drug use, or like how do people use illicit drugs and all that kind of thing, versus, you know, prescribed medicinal ones. There's a topic we should deep dive into. Unfortunately, yeah, I'm a bit over the whole Shrek meme at this point. I enjoyed watching them when I was younger, but like it's been dragged out. It's a dead horse. The amount of obsession the internet has with Shrek. That horse is now a dried puddle on the ground. It's been that long. Just guys, folks, can we leave Shrek alone now? It's been done. Also, just personally, I don't like most of the soundtrack, especially the karaoke stuff. I know I am a heathen. A heretic, some might say, to the word of Shrek. The gingerbread golem in 2 was the high point. It was... Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate. Like, 1 and 2 were the peaks of the series. And then it was just a strong decline. I've heard they're even considering another movie at some point, which is just... Please don't. Any hoomstead of... Let's put it back on bisexual lighting for a bit, because I would like to get into something, if you wouldn't mind. We're going to bring this up. Give me a moment, because I got some notes over here. Some specific points I want to make about this thing, so I don't forget what I'm saying. I got some notes. I actually took some notes. Can you imagine? I actually took some fucking notes about what we're going to talk about here. So there was this tweet. If you're at all familiar with trans Twitter, you might have come across this. If you're not, I am about to enlighten you. The person who posted this has since deleted it. That is my sword. Yes, it is. I do have a sword. It doesn't actually cut anything, but yes, it is. I am the sword lesbian of Twitch. Anyway. Yes, a little bit of organization to start us off with a pretty regrettable topic, but here's the tweet that went up according to this screen cap at 4:37 p.m. on April 22nd. So apparently it's a few days old. I didn't even realize that. But it was deleted today because it took off all over Twitter. People were trashing this, and rightfully so. And yeah, I'll just read it for you. Trans teenagers should be told before they are given a single hormonal medication that they will find it extremely difficult to find romantic partners and love, and that there's a high chance that they will live their whole lives alone by transitioning. I wish somebody told me that. Now, just at a glance, I feel like I don't even need to elucidate what the fuck is so problematic about that, aside from everything. This was posted by a trans person, for the record. This was posted by a transphobic trans person. Allegedly. If I recall correctly, they were trans. There was some note of that amidst all the replies and the quote tweets and all of this. And I posted something vaguely similar to this that was a lot more encouraging and loving and enlightening and all that kind of thing. Because I want trans folks to feel accepted and welcomed and loved, despite the idea that they may or may not be in a relationship, you know? So, right off the bat, this is just more fuel on the turf fire that trans teenagers shouldn't be allowed on hormones. Like the notion that's being said here. You know, the first line, or the first segment of the thing, trans teenagers should be told before they are given a single hormonal medication, like immediately jumping on the turf bandwagon, that trans teens shouldn't be given meds right off the, like, no puberty blockers or anything like that, like just straight into that discussion, pandering to that group of people, which just seems like a really bad idea, especially given that transphobes will tend to take a pick-me once in a while. They will tend to take someone who is transgender, but is also transphobic in their own way, you know? I'm warning all the other transes. I'm a good trans trying to protect the young transes. And then it goes on into this notion that it's extremely difficult to find romantic partners in love. There's a high chance they will live their whole lives alone by transitioning. And that just feeds into the idea that society's, like, how would you phrase it? Like, society's expectation that a person should need a partner in their lives to begin with. You know, like, why is it? What's so important? I mean, obviously, like, who mentioned incel vibes, Phage? Correct. Like, this very, very much incel vibes, very much feeds into the notion that, you know, and I had this kind of thing when I was younger. The idea that if you don't have a partner, then your worth in society, your worth to the people around you is lesser for it. Think of the way that certain people, like I guarantee you've heard this. I guarantee you've heard someone in your life talk about another person who is single, like the spinster attitude, the spinster mentality. Talking about somebody who's single and has been single for a while, and they talk about them with a derogatory fashion. As if, you know, being in a relationship is such a crucial part of who we are as people. That if someone is single, then that's a bad thing. And that, I was poisoned by that mentality when I was a kid. Because I would see people happily pairing off and going into couples, and I thought, when's it gonna happen to me? Not realizing that that kind of, I guess it's not self-loathing. It's not really the phrase I'm looking for. But I guess a type of yearning, almost. Because we are culturally expected to enter into a relationship. We are culturally expected to find a partner, typically of the opposite sex, to go off and have kids with and propagate the species. If you can't be happy alone by yourself, that needs to be worked out before you think about a relationship. Bingo. Exactly. And this comes back around to what I was going to talk about myself. Prior to coming out, I had this big deal in my head. And it was one of the reasons I started... it's one of the reasons I started going to the gym. Honestly. Genuinely. Hello, Kingless God. How you doing? One of the reasons I started working out and trying to get into shape. I think I was, fresh out of my relationship with my ex. And I had this desperate desire to be attractive, physically attractive. So that I could pull the ladies and get myself into a juicy relationship. Kind of thing. And for a good long while there, I went through, you know, date after date, girlfriend after girlfriend, but not really girlfriends, like, you know, meet once or twice kind of thing and then move on. There was definitely a significant period there where I was just like trying to find someone for the sheer notion of having that normal, acceptable, I'm in a relationship status. And yeah, like I was quite decidedly desperate for a relationship, but I didn't realize it at the time. I thought, you know, this was kind of just a bachelor-esque lifestyle I was leading at the time. And then, after coming out, of course, I've realized after, say, what's it been, like 9 months? thereabouts. I've come to accept myself a whole lot more, and I no longer value myself based on how dateable I am. Which comes back to what you said, Aurora. If you can't be happy alone by yourself, I am quite happy alone by myself. I'm quite happy not having a partner now. So if someone comes into my life who eventually does become a partner, why am I telling people that I'm single on the internet? That's a fucking bad idea. Regardless. Have a good one, Detroit. Thank you so kindly for hanging. You can be fine by yourself, but there is that need for human contact. I agree with that. And I'm fortunate enough that I've got friends that I can hang out with semi-routinely. In a physical capacity. Like, I hang out with Jacinta quite often. Like, here in Australia, lockdowns are much more lenient. We don't really have any lockdowns, mask mandates. Everything is pretty much just like, play it safe and careful, social distance, sanitize your hands. So, I'm not touch-starved at the moment. I can get hugs from my friend, for example. That is an important thing. I think there's a lot of people who are experiencing lockdown at the moment who've definitely got that whole touch-starved thing, that whole isolationist thing, where they're definitely craving some kind of interaction with their fellow human beings, naturally. We are a social species. We do have that level of value based on how socializable we are. Sociable we are. And if, for example, we are forced to not socialize, that can have a very significant, look at him, a very significant negative impact on us. But most certainly, I don't think of myself based on how dateable I am anymore. I don't even consider that. I don't even just... I mean, yeah, everyone should get a cat. He's a good companion. He chills. He vibes. Also, in this tweet, it just completely dismisses anyone who might be asexual or aromantic, which just feeds into the idea that society has. Again, coming back around to the notion that people need a partner. You need to have a partner in your life. Do you, though? There are quite a few people out there who are single, who are happily single, because they are asexual or aromantic. Or even they just don't want to be in a relationship. You know? And again, it's not that I specifically don't want to be in a relationship, it's that I just don't see the point in it at this point in time. Or rather, I'm not seeking it out. This is the tweet, for the record, for anyone who missed it. We got the tweet here. Trans teenagers should be told before they are given a single hormonal medication that they will find it extremely difficult to find romantic partners and love, and that there's a high chance they will live their whole lives alone by transitioning. There's another part here that I haven't jotted any notes down on, that they will live their whole lives alone by transitioning, which I suppose just feeds into the whole idea again, that you need a partner or whatever. But also just like, it's almost inferring that transition makes you undateable. You know, it just infers that transitioning at all makes you entirely reprehensible to a lot of people. It feeds into a lot of transphobia. Dog hair, welcome to the Rogue Room. Yeah, many people can't produce babies and still lead happy lives. And no, I don't need, I don't take song requests, no. It's just stream beats all the time. But yeah, everyone should just get a cat. You don't really contemplate how dateable you are, since it just leads you to a dark place mentally. Exactly. And Kevin, welcome to the Rogue Room. I'm not looking at that tweet. I'm doing a thing. I'm doing a thing at the moment, at the present. Hello, cat. Inherently undateable. Dab. I can understand that, Sloth. Don't want a partner. Just want someone to cuddle. That's nice. Having just someone to cuddle is nice. Which is why you can't process why society is so fucking set on making more babies we don't need. Yeah, exactly. Like, we have enough people. But this comes back around to the thing about the church we were talking about before. The church wants people making babies. The church wants more people to make more people, which, you know, cycles around to that whole idea we were talking about earlier of the church wanting to extinguish certain undesirable types of people. So a lot of our cultural norms are based on what the church dictated was the right way to do things. And one of the reasons there are numerous religious sects where, you know, a couple gets together and has to have as many kids as possible. You know why they want you to do that? Let's bring back this one. Crusades! They want more people so they can do more Crusades! I didn't press the button at the right time. That was fucking tremendous. Crusades. Sects. S-E-T-C-S. Just want someone to rail you. The Catholic Church has a lot to answer for. Oh, it does. We really got... I don't think we ever did the religious fascism thing, did we? The church exists for monarchical hierarchies. Yes, delete the church. Delete the church. Can we just System 32 delete System 32 of the church? Anyway. Also, this thing, like, this is the thing that really gets me. You know, they're telling trans teenagers they should be told before they're given a single hormonal medication. They'll find it extremely difficult. This tweet treats transness as something that can be simply chosen, right? I.e. the idea that a trans person can simply just put their trans identity over there on the shelf and live as cis to make it easier to find a partner. Make it easier to live a normal life. Don't you want a normal life, love? You know? And yeah, it's just like, oh, you're trans? Just put that over there. You don't need that. You don't need that. Go get yourself into a nice cisgender heterosexual relationship. Like, yeah, they treat transition as the issue, but not society. Exactly, phenomenon. And we already talked about the idea of, you know, propagating the human race. That's essentially what it is. That's essentially what it boils down to. This tweet is, you know, there's a difficult chance, extremely difficult to find romantic partners and love. And that whole thing spirals into eventually, you know, stereotypically speaking, finding a heterosexual partner to procreate with. That's what it is. Just want someone to value me and love me and who I can spoil. I wish I could spoil someone, dude. That'd be fucking sweet. That'd be awesome. That'd be a good feeling. And I'm just going to throw this out there as a side note. Most of the trans people I have met, personally, well, yeah, a significant number of the trans people I am relatively close to, largely in an online space, because, again, well, a lot of my friends are online, first and foremost, and, also, you know, lockdowns previously made it hard to socialize. But a lot of the people who I'm intimately familiar with regards to, you know, trans folks, I know them online almost exclusively, have not met them in person because they live in, like, other states or other countries or what have you. Makes it a bit difficult, but by and large, you know, the close trans people I have met are in happy relationships. So that's just, that alone proves the notion it's extremely difficult to find romantic partners. Like, based on fucking what? I've seen so many trans people in pleasant relationships. Where are you getting this information from? You know, they're just making this up. And it, honestly, it kind of, I can't find the account now because the tweet's been deleted, so I can't go back and see if the account is even still up. But I get the suspicion this tweeter might have been a TERF sock puppet. It's hard to imagine it's not, but again, I can't check the profile. This seems like the kind of thing that a TERF sock puppet account would post. And it got some traction, obviously. But, you know, ultimately this person got dragged on Twitter for this fucking dog shit take. The tweet was deleted, but thankfully we do have the screenshot. Again, let's just revise the screenshot if you want to. There it is. There it is. In case you missed it. Terrible take. Tremendously bad take. Your self-worth is not judged by you being in a relationship, dude. I'm still not sure if dude is a gender neutral or not. It's hard. This is a hard discussion. But anyway, yeah. Nothing is deleted on the internet. There's always someone who keeps it. That's what worries me. I've posted, like, there's a lot of stuff that I've deleted from my existing YouTube channel that I worry for some reason somebody has kept hold of. That have kept my old videos or what have you. The Wayback Machine might have caught it. Does the Wayback Machine catch Twitter? I can't recall. I suppose it probably would, but I don't even know how you would check. What do you just look up on Twitter 4 days ago and then search for the tweet text? Would that work? We could try it. Nudes are all over the internet now. Oh well. It's the, you know, oh well. Are you okay with that? The internet's just a fucking archive of shit. This is the thing, like, even if something is on the internet forever, it's like, there's so much fucking shit on the internet. Do you really think anyone's gonna find it? Time to prep for the Daystar exposure. Oh gosh. Make sure you use the star prevention cream. Anyway, the fact they say those things but do not inspire or make a difference. They only say transitioning is what causes it. Yeah, no, this is a societal problem. Let's browse history from 4 days ago. Is this gonna work? I want to go back to, like, when was it? Of this year. Can we go back to... I want to go to April 23rd. Let's go to April 23rd. We'll go to, like, mid this time. Here we go. I'm going to try something. Have a good one, Aurora. Thank you so kindly for being here. You probably won't be back by the time stream ends. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, I'm going on the Wayback Machine right now. I don't know why there would be a specific capture of this tweet. Oh, I gotta sign in. No, okay. Fuck that. Unless someone else wants to log in to Twitter on the Wayback Machine and try to find the tweet, go ahead. But, you know, for right now, we have a screenshot. A screenshot of someone who's an absolute daft cunt. And, yeah. You know, like, why should you think that your value in society is dependent on your relationship status? And yeah, relationships could either be good or negative to one's feelings of worth. Exactly. You know, some people might find incredible value in being in a relationship. They might. And there might be other people who get into a relationship and then find that it's not what they wanted. It's not what they needed in their life. And yeah, like me, once I had come out and started exploring gender and all this kind of stuff and started to, you know, fix myself up a little bit, I began to realize I don't need another person in my life necessarily. I like having the other people in my life, most certainly, but I don't need to have a specific other person who's always there all the time. If nothing else, Daft Cunt is Daft Punk's Australian copycat. Did they also break up? What's up, Lictar? How's it going? What was I going to say? Oh yeah, like one of the things that I specifically recall when I was in 2 significant relationships, well, mainly the first one, was the sensation of I don't really have any time to myself. You know, in that particular circumstance that I was in, there was nothing but just me and them all the time. It was perpetual. And that, to me, like, even it got to the point where, I just realized I haven't put mascara on. Oh well. My eyelashes are fucking bomb anyway. Anywho, what was I saying? Yeah, like, I think it was more that relationship itself was particularly toxic in that regard. In that, you know, I got into a thing where I was going away, like, once a month to, like, a tabletop wargaming group. Once every 4 weeks on a Saturday. And they would make me feel guilty for doing that one activity with other people that didn't involve them. So that informs my own vision of relationships, unfortunately. Anyway, I'm going to hit another ad roll really quickly. Just so that... And we'll continue on this topic for a little bit longer. I'm just going to run an ad roll now so that we have the next half hour ads disabled and things of the like. Hello, Talon. How you doing? You saw this TikTok the other day of an Aussie person saying Aussie NBs can totally give their pronouns as yeah, nah. Friendships are better than relationships. Can't beat some... Oh, yeah, true. Benefits are nice. Yeah, isolating your partner is definitely abusive. Although that's a discussion I don't want to talk too deeply on abuse tonight. I feel like that'd be a tricky thing. But anyway, what did I miss? Something about the tweet. Somebody said something about the tweet.
Welcome back,
Silent Storm.
supporter of the cause.
Thank you for the 3 months, you fucking legend, you. Holy shit. Excuse me. God damn it. Why am I belching so much? There was something about the tweet. What was it? Something about the dog shit tweet. I forgot what it was. Somebody remind me. Was it... I feel like Draco said something. Who sets it up? I can't find it now. Anyway, adds a pog, get that bag. It's not about the bag though. It's more just so that people can come into the stream and not get hit with an ad the moment they drop in. Somebody said something about the dog shit tweet. By the way, Rena, did I say hello? How you doing? Specifically the phrasing. The dog-ass tweet. There we go. It was Vagabond. Being trans makes dating difficult for reasons that aren't actually brought to light in that dog-ass tweet. Yes, exactly. That's what it was. Vagabond. It was not you, Draco. You both got a purple name. Aussie pronouns are bloke and Sheila. Anyway, one of the other things that reminds me, one of the other things that I've seen crop up from time to time as well, let me turn this up just a little bit, from the TERF side of things, is the idea, like the point that is made, the specific transphobic point that is made, is that, you know, you shouldn't transition, get this, because society is so transphobic. You don't see how that might be a problem? Telling people not to transition? Anyways. You're both blue. I see you as a deep purple. Anyway, you have to get a shower soon, but you're lacking the mental fortitude to wash your hair today. I did dry shampoo today. I was supposed to wash my hair. And now I guess I'll do it tomorrow, but... I didn't have the time, actually. I did not have the time to wash my hair, because by the time I was out of the shower and dressed, I had to get out the door to start doing deliveries. Which today was a pretty pog day. I made a fair chunk of cash. Yeah, how do you expect society to become untransphobic if they don't see trans people being valid? Huh. Funny you should say that. How's society gonna get less transphobic if there's no trans people left for them to be transphobic too? I mean, I suppose technically you get what I'm getting at. Fox, there you go. Everyone should just transition so we can get rid of cis people. Yes, there are some people who legitimately think that trans people are that much of a threat to the human race. Like, we're just going to keep growing in number. Just keep converting people to transism or some shit. To eventually sterilize the human race. There are people who legitimately believe this shit. Oh, anyway, that's it for the tweet. We're done with that tweet. We're done with that topic. I'm in. Let's wipe out the cis. One world trans army. But new trans people will be born. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like more transgender people. Like it's not a thing that we accept. Not a thing that we accept. It's not a thing that we just like come up with on the fly. It's a thing that we are, you know, innately conscious of. It's a thing that eventually, just, you know, if a trans person is trans, they're going to discover it in some way, shape, or form, and they're going to explore that. If there's no trans people around to, for them to learn from, say, for example, if they don't have access to the internet and they're in a place that's extremely transphobic, so trans people are routinely repressed or whatever, there's no information about them, they might experience dysphoria or something to that effect, so, you know, gender questioning sort of behaviors, and not know how to deal with it. But it's like the notion of science. You know, the ideas behind science. One of the ideas behind science, I think it was either Ricky Gervais or sorry, my leg's itchy. I'm scratching my leg. It was either Ricky Gervais, I know, or Richard Dawkins, I know, who said something to the effect of, if we were to wipe out all the religions, I think it was Ricky Gervais, then, you know, new religions would crop up, but they wouldn't be the same as the old ones. If we wiped out all the science, eventually we'd discover all the same science again. Anyway. Anywho's... I feel like this is going to be a pretty one-sided poll, to be honest with you. Anyway, problem is saying things like that is always the same as the white race is dying because of all the interracial babies being born, which is leading to the thinking, what exactly is the issue of that? Yeah, humans are ever evolving anyways. Exactly. There's no point, there's no problem with it. Even if the even if the transers were taking over, like, let's just say, for example, that we were. You think there wouldn't be some kind of science to preserve the notion of procreation? You know, they're already working on test tube babies. You know, that's not a shocking thing. The science to just grow a child in a tube that never touches another human body is happening. It's going on right now. I'm talking to your doctor tomorrow and going to try to get on the gender identity clinic. Oh, I hope that goes well. Problem is saying, oh, I already read that bit. I'd love some pizza too, actually. That'd be good. I could go some pizza. I've got, actually, Aldi. I went to Aldi the other day. And I said to my kids, we're going to make pizzas. And we went into Aldi and they had these little pizza bases. Like that big. They had little pizza bases. So me and my kids made 6 mini pizzas instead of 1 big pizza. And we put our own toppings on them. Fucking poggers. It was good shit, man. You can spam with channel points if you want. I've left it set so you can vote with like 1 channel point. Baby pizzas. They were good. They were really good. I think I've still got some bases left, but I don't know if they'd still be in date, sadly. There is an Aldi in the land down under. Darky is back. Welcome to the Rogue Room. English muffins for pizzas sound fucking based, and I want to try them. Someone else recommended that to me recently, and I'm like, I have to try this. I love English muffins. They're fantastic. If humans create religion, they would largely be similar new religions. Yeah, like let's just say tomorrow, King Boy Games. Welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? Let's just say tomorrow, we wiped out any knowledge of the existing religions. But the thing is, you know, we would probably cultivate new ones. We'd create new stories, new religious ideas. But I think the concepts, this is the thing. This comes back around to that that there's 7 basic plots thing. The idea that there's only so many fictional stories you can tell, which is 7 essentially. I'd have to go back and reread the actual context there, but you know, by and large, you're only going to get so many different plots. And fiction is nothing if not a bunch of stories strung together. So if a religion, if say the Christian religion is the Bible, right? It's kind of the 1,000 monkeys and 1,000 typewriters kind of thing. Eventually, you know, if you gave human history long enough, they'd probably come up with something vaguely similar to Christianity. If they wiped out all knowledge of all religion tomorrow. Don't ask me how. This is I fucking hate hypotheticals. Can I just, for a moment, illustrate the fact that I hate hypotheticals? Why am I doing this to myself? This is flagellation right now. Religion is just shit philosophy. Aldi are the ones converting people worldwide. Imagine no religion. But yeah, like, I think eventually you might sort of get something that vaguely leans in the same way. You could get a monotheistic religion or a pantheistic religion. Eventually. You know, we would see the fish as a symbol of Christianity if we were to start again. We are no longer in the Baishis era. Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid way of saying it. How's yours day? My day's been pretty good. My day's been pretty poggers, King Boy. How's your day been? And yeah, Aldi's good. I quite like Aldi. They're not perfect, though. You know, if I want somewhere a little bit more structured, where I know where everything is every single time, I'll go to somewhere like Coles or Woolworths, the other 2 major supermarket chains here. There's also IGA, but they're very, very scant, few and far between. But Aldi is good. Like, you can get all your basic grocery sort of stuff there. But then you get to the middle of the grocery store, and it's just a huge, like, there's 2 massive aisles of just whatever the fuck they've put there. There's no organization. It's just a bunch of shit. You can find TVs. There'd be a TV there, maybe. A desk one day. Camping gear. A footrest. Just fucking whatever. Just Aldi just puts out fucking whatever. You're getting Woolworths back. TVs with bread on the side. How do we feel about most people trying to avoid the subject of transgender, which contributes to the state we're left in still in society? Yeah, I don't like that. Like, let's talk about for a moment. I'm not sure if Woolworths is the same brand as in Africa. It might be. I've heard there are multiple different Woolworths. Same with multiple different Kmarts. Anyway, Phenomenon. You know what that reminds me of? Your statement reminds me of what John Cleese said when asked about the trans thing, the trans discussion. And his point that he made was like, oh, I don't really care about that conversation. I wish them well, but I don't have any specific thoughts on it. I'd rather focus on other issues. And that feels like I feel like that behavior, that attitude is not unfamiliar in society, but I haven't really heard it at the same time. I get the suspicion there are a lot of people who are just like, oh yeah, I wish them well, but I don't really care. You know? Would there be an IGA in Canada, considering that IGA stands for the Independent Grocers of Australia? That would be a bit odd. Be interesting though. Or did they got bought out by Canada? I suppose, you know, IGA on its own is just IGA. It doesn't necessarily mean anything if you take it as a brand name. Call me Jacoa. Welcome to the program. How you doing? Looking at gender GP or talk about getting hormones with your GP because the GIC waiting lists are long. Yeah, I've heard that. In Turf Island. Over in Turf Island, people who are getting trans treatment are on excessively long, years-long waiting lists. To the point where Philosophy Tube has considered leaving the UK, or is leaving the UK for New York, because the waiting lists to get any sort of treatment in the UK are absurdly long. Literally years long. Hurricane Marlin, welcome to the program. How you doing? Independent Grocers Association. Oh, okay. They must have changed it. Either that or the IGA of Australia is a different brand. Need to stop being bitter about being broke? No, Emmy, I feel you. Solidarity. I'm broke all the time too, and I'm very bitter about it. How are you doing? I think we're all broke. Everyone's broke. Even with this many subs, I'm fucking broke, dude. Can the 15th hurry up? I would like my Twitch money, please. You were meant to work tonight? I did some work today. Let's just like... There we go. Hang on. The title is now Sword Lesbianism, which has nothing to do with anything, but, yeah. Proletariat speedrun. Getting more bitter as time goes on. I get that. I mean, I do get it. Like, there are certain people in my life who have got a lot more money than me, a lot more income than me, and when they complain that they're broke, I'm just like, come on. Really? You know, you got a much greater chance at being financially stable than I do. You know? And... what was I gonna say? Yeah. That's it, you know. There are a few people I know who've got far more money than I could ever even dream of. And, like, they're the kind of people who are regularly going on little holidays, little trips, camping trips, going to the city. I went to the city recently on someone else's dollar. You know, they have the opportunity to spend money routinely, and then they'll tell me that they don't have any money to do anything. And I'm like... But, you know... Meanwhile, if I have a big expense come up, that's all of my savings gone in an instant. If I have anything that's like even vaguely touching $500, you know, that's all of it. That's my money gone. I got nothing left. You know, living week to week is fucking rough, dude. We're broke because pre-boomer generations and boomers didn't give a shit what the future will look like for us. Oh yeah, it was all about them. It was a very selfish generation. Stop spending all my money on makeup. Stop telling me how to spend my money. How about that? You have enough for food, bills, and rent. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, I can cover food, bills, and rent. And I regrettably spent some of my not Patreon money, PayPal money on a piece of clothing that I wanted. And sometimes, like, this is the thing, right, Emmy, and I feel like you might relate to this, and I feel like everybody might relate to this, is if you are in that state of having not enough money, and it's that always, you know, week to week to week, you get through all the income you have. And when you have a little bit and you treat yourself, all of a sudden either you feel guilty innately, like you've done something wrong, which I do every single time I buy myself something nice, or someone else in your life makes you feel guilty for having bought yourself a treat. And I fucking hate the way that works. Yes, it is a brass knuckle mug. I've had it for fucking 10 years, man. I swear to goodness, it's a good cup. Oh, excuse me. When you have a bit extra, there's always something you want to buy. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you want to save. Like, I've mentioned this before, how difficult it is to save for things when you're at, say, my level of income, which is not much. You want to save. You should save. And yeah, spending $5 on a burger without feeling guilty. Exactly. But it becomes incredibly difficult to save when at the end of your week, or your fortnight, or your month, you've spent all your money on bills. And there is like that little thing you want to get that's a bit too expensive for you to buy now. But to save for it would take you a year, 2 years, 3 years. And by the time you might get to that point where you've saved enough for it, a newer, better, shinier thing has come out that's a better version of the thing you want. The thing you want is no longer available, and the new, shinier thing is much more expensive. So your saving is completely pointless at that point because the price of things just keeps going up, while the income doesn't. Like, a little bit of joy, that's all I want. Yeah, exactly. Like, if I feel comfortable and happy buying myself a bit of makeup, or I buy myself a piece of clothing, or shoes, because I had that little bit of money set aside, and someone makes me feel guilty about it, then I'm just gonna, like, feel that guilt every time I buy something for myself. Including a fucking Big Mac. If I buy myself a Big Mac, well, there's numerous reasons I feel guilty if I buy a Big Mac. That's like more than likely half of my daily calorie intake. People don't realize how common makeup is. It's one of the most smuggled items in women's prison. There you go. By the way, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sergeant Pepper. Saving to build a computer, is this exactly? Yeah. I don't know how I managed to get this PC. I've forgotten where I had the money for the PC from, but I did spend the money on the PC. I certainly didn't take a loan out for it, I can tell you that much. I'm actually, one of the reasons that I have such a financial issue is that I have a routine debt that I have to pay. This is getting personal, but I do have a debt that I am repaying that's going to take me years to pay off. And I fucking hate it. And I had this wonderful dream the other night that I was given $29,000 into my bank account. And I looked at my bill, I looked at my debt, whatever it's called, my loan repayment, and it was just zero. It had zeroed out because I gotten 30 grand and just automatically paid the rest of the bill off, the debt off, and I was like, that's what I dream about. How pathetic is that? Earth Boy, welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? Oh, dude. Be fucking banging. Can you imagine? It is a good dream. If you can buy something that makes you more money, it beats buying something for yourself. But yeah, you got to buy something for yourself too, exactly. But what do you buy that makes you more money? Is the thing. You know, what do you spend the money on? You know, that whole spend money to make money thing. What does that even fucking mean these days? A money tree, yeah. What can you actually buy these days? Are we actually suggesting that I get into counterfeiting? Money printers? I could... No, I'm not going to get into counterfeiting. Anyway, look. Lottery tickets. I mean, that's true, technically. What was the comparison? Like, you're more than likely to do X than to win the lottery? Earth Boy, welcome to the Rogue Room, formally. Well, yeah, content creation stuff, that's the thing, right? Is like, I used to be, okay, all the money that I'm going to be spending on, I mean, all the money that I get from streaming and Patreon and anything else, was gonna go, like, let's put it back into the stream, let's buy some more video games or whatever else. And now my ambition is specifically to... What was I going to say? Now my ambition is specifically to save up as much money as I can to buy a camera to make better YouTube videos. And the camera I want is around $1,500, which is, again, hard to save for because I've got my car registration coming up. So by the time I have enough income, I'm going to have, again, like $400 or $500 or whatever it is. That money's going to go straight into my car rego, you know? Can buy a PC and mine Bitcoin. At this point, though, Also, I don't want to do anything that continues to contribute to the mass decimation of the environment. I've got a Samsung S10. I've had this for about 4 years now. I try to hold on to phones as long as fucking possible. I had my Google... What was it called? The Google Pixel. I had the Pixel for a good long while there. Like 5 or 6 years. And I've had this one for a while. Anyway. Have an S5 still. There you go. Google Pixel 3, had it for ages. You said at this point though, back in 2013. Yeah, exactly. Like by the time it's the same with like different social media platforms like TikTok. I wouldn't start TikTok now because I missed the boat. I don't know what the fuck you do on TikTok, but I know I wouldn't be able to make it work. I don't have the capacity for short form content to begin with. But yeah, like, I kind of wish I had jumped on TikTok, sorry, not Pixel, TikTok when it had started to take off, and I was one of those people who was skeptical of it from the beginning for numerous reasons. And as a result, you know, nowadays, I look at TikTok, I look at people who have got like 50,000 followers on TikTok, but what does that ultimately mean at the end of the day? You know, would you prefer followers who want long form content or short form content? And I don't think there are any actual avenues for revenue at this point, are there? Yeah, TikTok's a Zoomer platform for sure. Definitely a platform for people who have got a very short attention span. Which, I mean, there are a lot of older people who have short attention spans too, but... reminds you that you're getting old. This is the thing that I've heard about TikTok though, right? Is that it takes a very short period of time for it to figure out what kind of content you want to see. So its recommendation algorithm is apparently really good. So ideally, I'd be able to put content out there that would be relatable to my audience and within a short period of time be able to find an audience on there. Arguably. I don't know how true that is. I'd like to try it nevertheless, but the thing is, then I've got to put more time into making more content and figuring out what the best format is for that platform. You know, if I were to espouse like punchy 30-second to 1 minute little diatribes here on Twitch, and I could clip them and put them on there, if I had good short form clips, then I would do that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, it's still more effort, and it's hard enough to create YouTube content, Twitch content. I spend entirely too much time on Twitter. That's a type of content. 11 followers, oh my gosh. How many do I have actually? I haven't logged into TikTok in a moment. Where do I even have? I don't think I even have it installed anymore. Oh no, I do. I've got it installed. I don't want to play a TikTok on here. Let me go to my page. I've got 3 followers. Some of my videos have got like 200 plus views, but you know, they're older videos now. And I don't know what to do with that platform. I'm not a dancey kind of person. Get good at dancing with your hands. Apparently that's peak talent and money. Yeah. I mean, you could do something. I don't have any particularly notable skills, is the thing. I don't have anything that would give me any sort of specific value. Nothing impressive that I can do on that platform. Not a dancer or a comedian, that's all you can do. That seems the case, honestly. Fucking gay, agreed. I am very fucking gay. Hugely gay. Now you'll stay, okay. I only downloaded TikTok because your boyfriend from the time was fairly big on TikTok and even got noticed on the first date. That's neat. You downloaded it solely to stalk him. Oh my god, my back's itchy. I feel like there should be a program or something going on for trans people who have missed out on their youth or struggle being integrated well that helps them set foot in life again. I feel that. I am going through uni at the moment, and I tell you, it's not about me being trans necessarily. I feel there is a certain point of motivation that I want to pursue this. But definitely my autism has had a huge impact on my ability to focus on academia, focus on study and things of that nature. And I think in some ways, yeah, like, we do have the issue as trans folks, of, you know, as older trans folks. I mean, I'm a baby trans who is in her 30s. Where it's like, I did hit the gym today, yes I did. Got my sweat on, did some squats, did some leg day. Gotta shoot off now, have a good one, vagabond. Have a good one. Love yourselves and each other. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I definitely had an element of difficulty studying before. And it doesn't feel like it's gotten much better going back to uni this year. I still feel like everything I do is just an absolute stumble over and fall face forward onto the concrete kind of deal. Like, I just don't get the content enough to be able to make this a viable thing, you know? And that's tricky to deal with. But whatevs. You know? I'm sure I'll come out of it doing okay on the other end, but... Like, I really want to learn this stuff and use it to better my content. Better understand what I'm talking about. Treadmill arrived. Sounds good, Raw. Go set that bitch up. 2021 is the year of Abby for partner. I hope so. That'd be cool. Can you imagine me getting partnered on Twitch after routinely criticizing the platform on a regular basis? Actually, on the subject, we haven't even touched on much news yet. Let me go to Twitter for a second. What's his name? Twitter guy. Twitter dude. Twitter guy. What's it? Twitty man. Twitter dude. Twitter man dude that does the talking about the system of Twitch. I've forgotten what his fucking name is. The guy that talks about Twitch's features and implementations and all that all the fucking time. He was talking about gambling. Let's try Twitch gambling. No, that's not it. Zach Busey. Zach Bussy. Zach with his massive bussy. But here's an interesting thing, because I'm sure you've all heard recently the kerfuffle around hot tub streamers. Do we have to have that discussion? But here's an interesting thing that Zach Bussy tweeted. I don't know how you pronounce that. Busey? I don't know. Anyway. If gambling streams became a new meta for top streamers, will we see the same level of criticism directed their way as the hot tub streamers have received? Bussy, butt pussy. I personally have no issue with either. Most of the top streamers I've seen gamble have lost money and been vocal about why you shouldn't gamble, but it will present an interesting sociological case study. For your information, I watch more gambling streams than hot tub streams. Usually the complaints about hot tub streamers are, this is porn, this is damaging to the impressionable youth, will you think of the children? But gambling, addiction, can be more directly damaging, which is why I'm pretty intrigued to see how the community at large will react to it. Abby for partner, can we get Abby for partner trending on Twitter? If they are women, there will be ire. If they are men, the response won't be as aggravated. Lara's always with the good takes on that. Yeah, if it was a bunch of hot women doing like poker streams, and they were like on the top of Twitch with tens of thousands of viewers, I guarantee you there would be a negative response to it, a hugely negative response to it. But how is a bikini porn show? Yeah, exactly, Amy. It's such a stupid discussion, such a stupid debate. And, gambling streams are a legitimate thing. They do already exist on the platform. But Zach there is saying that what would happen if gambling streams took the top place as the meta. Because gambling is more distinctly, more directly harmful, and it encourages people to gamble. You know, so you've got these gambling streamers who will, like you said, you know, they will outright state that if they, you know, when they lose money, they'll be like, oh, don't gamble. Gambling is bad. Gambling will ruin your life. But the viewers aren't going to listen to that. They're going to see someone win a big pot, and they're going to go into gambling themselves and think they can win big. This is the problem with gambling. It's very easy to influence people to go and spend tons of money thinking they'll get tons of money back. They'll ruin their lives for that, you know, that slight chance at a big win. Some people are going to see the streamers win and think they can too. Yeah, exactly. The hot tub debate is a great litmus test for sexism. Outright, absolutely. And I made this post earlier. Let me see if I can find it. I posted about the hot tub streamers thing. Watch any one of the top male streamers do a hot tub stream and pull more viewers than any female streamer, and then tell me it's a problem. Right? And I get the suspicion it's already happened. I think I responded to Jin saying that I think there already has been a male hot tub streamer's stream. And as far as I know, it did pull more viewers than some of the hot girls on Twitch doing the hot girls on Twitch thing. Like, that's the problem, is like the moment that it's blokes doing it, no one gives a fuck. But when it's women doing anything successful on the platform, all of a sudden a bunch of thirsty incels have a problem with it. Yeah, women seem to get a bad reaction to a lot of the things they stream on Twitch. Absolutely. Oh no, I said the word incel. They're going to ban me again. You've been in a couple of those streams. Those women are tough to deal with, all the creeps and trolls in chat. Oh, yeah. I feel like, you know, if they're pulling like 20, 40,000 viewers or whatever it is, at that point, you'd probably ignore the chat to an extent anyway. Nudity in general over gambling, agreed. Incels and Karens. But yeah, Fox, like you said, women seem to get a bad reaction to a lot of the things they stream anyway. Like, it could be a top tier female esports streamer. And she'd get shit just for having a vagina. You know. Boobs are better than cunts. I'm going to run an ad break really quickly. Because, we're right at, you know, the time where I've got to run another ad break. Anyway. Hello, Sammy. How you doing? Yeah, and this is the thing. Again, Fox, like, I don't see the problem either. If they are getting views, then let them be. If I mentioned this before. If someone is getting views on this platform and they are remaining firmly within terms of service, which, as I have seen personally with the hot tub streamers, you know, yeah, they're a bit risque, they're a bit sexualized, but they're not breaking terms of service. And they are using the wording of the terms of service to their advantage to an extent. In that, you know, if you're at a pool or if you're at a hot tub or whatever it is, you're allowed to wear a bikini because it's the relevant kind of clothing. You're not allowed to, for example, just sit in your office in a bikini. Like, you're not allowed to just sit at your desk in a bikini because it's considered irrelevant clothing, which is really weird that we're policing people's clothing with TOS. But if these girls are going out of their way to set up a fucking hot tub and chill out in a fucking hot tub, power to them. If they're bringing in thousands of views and subs and all of that based on the fact that they're sitting in a hot tub, then clearly that kind of content is working for them. Clearly that kind of content is working for them. Amaranth is a champ, I agree. Never seen a good chat in a four-figure viewer IRL stream. Excessive Profanity is pretty good. I've been in his stream quite a few times, and he's routinely over 1,000 or 2,000 viewers, and he responds to chat regularly. And chat doesn't blow up like all the time. It's not just like a massive wave of constant shit. You know, his chat's pretty chill. Anyway. Feisty Fox is following you around. She appears in every stream. I've noticed a few of the streams that I go to now. I'm coming across quite a few of your faces. Welcome to the Rogue Room, Viet. How you doing? Really what, Ethan? Content. You've seen streamers with hundreds of viewers who read every message. Jesus Christ. That's the thing, right? It's like, we get this expectation that if you have hundreds or thousands of viewers, you're not going to read chat anymore, especially if you're at like the tens of thousands of viewers range, where it gets to the point where, like, if you're in Hassan's stream, for example, his chat just goes all the fucking time. You can't read it. I don't know how anybody at that level can read their chat, and they've got them in slow mode and it's still going a mile a minute, you know. So, you know, to have the capacity to even read anything that comes up. And I've seen people like Vosh and, again, Hassan and all of that kind of thing. They will respond to some messages. If the chat slows down for a second and somebody gets an idea in a chat and injects a message in a chat, they do take the time to actually read that particular thing. So it depends on, like, how fast the chat is moving. Because sometimes it can slow down to the point where interaction actually picks back up again. Engagement picks back up again. I was just using him as an example, guys. You don't need to fly off the handle. Anyway, internet porn has been a thing for over 2 decades, but bathing suits on Twitch is too racy. I know. Thank you for the clip, by the way, Sammy. Liberals treat Vosh like he's the leftist messiah. And there was the whole situation with SDL recently, Socialism Done Left, which was a whole debacle. I don't know if somebody has put together a really condensed version of the whole Socialism Done Left scenario. If somebody's got a video of that or what have you. Can I just outright state for the record, just because I'm trans doesn't mean I'm particularly into drag. I don't know where this notion came from. But that was something that somebody mentioned on Twitter. I think it was... What was her name? I don't doubt like some drag queens are funny and all that, but there was someone who made the point that there are a lot of people who think just because a person is trans. Oh yeah, here we go. This one, here we go. Not saying anything about drag itself, but I really wish people would stop assuming I'm into it because I'm trans. Are you two friends? Cis people are like drag, yes. Trans women, no. That kind of thing. And that also harkens back to the way that like ContraPoints made a remark about how a lot of her older videos leaned heavily into drag style makeup, really excessive, over the top kind of setups, costumes, and all that kind of thing. And mentioned how, you know, looking back, it feels like she was almost clown facing herself in a way, trans face sort of, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Like she felt that the way she had almost made herself into a bit of a joke with how much drag she had done with her older videos. Those videos are still up, by the way. ISP shitted out at that time. You tried watching NCC stream about the SDL stuff, but you get talking over the video, so you don't even know. As far as I recall, so what the SDL debacle is about is that some messages surfaced from, I think, Destiny's Discord server, and as a result, like these were really bad, racist, sexist, transphobic, like really excessive kind of shit. And he went quiet, deleted all his videos off his YouTube channel. I think they're back now, but he wiped out a ton of tweets, like nearly 2,000 tweets, and did a stream where he covered everything, and naturally used the I'm autistic defense. Now apparently these are comments from like 2 years ago or whatever, allegedly. But yeah, I don't know the whole situation, but to use autism as a defense for shitty behavior in the past is not on. Don't do that. That just brings autistic people down. Yeah, it's fucking woeful. Don't be like that. As far as I know, SDL was largely trashed on by leftist Twitter. I can't really figure out the rest. Merrick DeVille is apparently dating him, and she was involved in the discourse a bit. There's stuff there. I haven't unpacked the whole thing yet. I was hoping there was that guy who does the whole. What happened to him? There was that guy who did the thread, did the videos where he just literally reads tweets about whatever drama's going on Twitter. I've forgotten what his fucking name is. And he just literally reads the drama. He doesn't add his own input at all. He just reads the tweets. That's it. To basically unpack the conversation for anyone who missed it. I feel like I haven't seen him on Twitter in a good minute. Anyway. Let me see. Like men regardless of what gendered clothes they wear. More men in dresses! And yeah, I don't like Destiny. No, not the quartering. This particular content creator's entire form of content is just screenshots of tweets and then reading the tweets. Doesn't add any commentary whatsoever. It's just literally screenshots, reading the tweets. Bo Blacks, that's it. Let's have a look. Did Bo Blacks... I've never known him to add commentary. Let's have a look. Twitter versus is his thing. Doesn't have anything about the situation regarding SDL just yet. Maybe it'll come up later. I don't know. But as far as I know, his entire form of content is just literally reading the tweets. I mean, that's of the content I've seen of his, is it's just him reading the tweets around this topic or that. And the quartering is just gaming for incels. Yes, we know that much. So what have I missed? Hang on. You watched Deer and Drag Trashy. We did raid a drag streamer the other night. I've forgotten who it was. Like men that dress like women, so obviously I'm not transphobic. That's a where'd that come from? Also has an autism awareness channel. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Okay. The friend is you, isn't it? Simple answer, no. Complex answer, I can't do that in 500 words. Oh god, we could watch Incoming Love. Guests. Thank you so kindly. Welcome. Vacuum Tech for the raid, and hello Three Bears. How you doing? Let's put some raid colors on for a minute. Where's my thing? I've lost my lighting. Here we go. Raid colors. There we go. How's it hanging? How was your stream vacuum? What'd you get up to? Can we get a shout out in chat for Vacuum Tap? What were you getting up to tonight? Tell us all about it. Sabela Wea. Sabela Wea. I think I pronounced that correctly. Welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? What's going on? Totally hope the generosity drag thing happens because you kind of love the idea of doing drag. I have no idea how one would ask to get into that shit. First of all, you have to spend a ton of money on excess amounts of makeup and costuming. Playing Dreamcast games online with each other with this thing Nullbear. Interesting. What kind of games were you playing? What kinds of Dreamcast games? I never had a Dreamcast. Vacuum Tech, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Rogue Room. You're covered on the makeup front. Well, there you go. That sorts that out. You know. Capcom versus SNK2 and Project Justice. Interesting. Interesting. What's SNK? I keep seeing that around. I'm not familiar with like every game in existence, so I've got that problem of like there are a bunch of really popular franchises that crop up every so often in gaming discourse. And I'm just like, I've never heard of this game. I don't understand it. Saturday Night Knife. To quote that one song, tip these men, it takes a lot of money to look this cheap, darling. Yeah, I think I recall hearing that one. Not available anywhere to play on a console or even on Fightcade, so null is the cheat code. Oh, I see. Choo Choo Rocket was the best Dreamcast game. I feel like Dreamcast got absolutely shit-canned by the games industry. A lot of people just didn't want to touch the damn thing for some reason. So it didn't last very long. There were never any Sega consoles ever again. Was it the PlayStation 2 that played into that? I feel like the PlayStation 2 probably killed the Dreamcast. SNK is King of Fighters. Oh, okay. Very long raid vibe. Yeah, we'll probably stop with the excess colors now. Any hoops. A connection with server failed. Bugger off. SNK was a game developer. Oh, okay. You agree that excuses are not excuses to act like an asshole? Yeah. Like if you have something like autism, you know, it's not an excuse to blame your autism on your behavior. Your behavior is still your behavior. You found the name of the person you quoted, and woo, that sure is a name. Oh no, Alaska Thunderfuck. Okay. Speaking of video games, though, let's talk about video games for a minute. Here's an interesting idea. And I kind of agree with this article, even if I don't like most of the games in it. But right around this particular period of time, a bit of Kotaku here. 2007 changed everything for video games, for better or worse, I think. Stop trying to autoplay your video. I've written a few stories about the golden years and their oversized imprint on gamers, developers. Stop autoplaying, cunt! Developers, publishers, and the industry around them, but if we're going to talk about the years that made an impact, it would be deeply unfair not to recognize the astonishing monumental effects of 2007, not just on that era of video games, but every year ever since. If the middle to late 90s were where many franchises got their start or properly solidified their popularity, 2007 was similarly profound. But it wasn't just the year they saw a string of new franchises absolutely explode onto the market. It was the year of massive industry overhaul, enormous acquisitions that would fundamentally change some studios forever, and the permanent establishment of new competitors that would redefine the business of video games. Also, it's genuinely crazy how many good games we got in 2007. I think it's the right wingers. What have I missed? Right wingers. We got left and right wing chat. Is it ironic that right wingers reference Orwell, but Orwell was a leftist? That's always highly amusing. When they say Orwell was right, it's 1984 and all that, and yeah, Orwell was a socialist. Which flies flagrantly in the face of anything conservatives are trying to use his. I bet you they haven't even read the book. I haven't even read the book. I haven't read 1984. Honestly. Guitar Hero changed everything for a while. This is the thing, is like Guitar Hero was on top of the world for a good few years there, and then after a while it eventually just stopped being on. It just, no one wanted it anymore. And I think that was the situation wherein they released so many Guitar Hero games in such quick succession, and you know, you're not just buying a game in most of those circumstances. They would add new features, so they would add a new button to the controller, and if you wanted to buy the next Guitar Hero, you're not just spending $70 on a game, you're also spending another $80 getting the controller to go with it, because you need the new controller because it's got the new bit on it, right? So, you know, you're spending $150, $160 once like Rock Band came around, and then Guitar Hero World Tour did the whole instrument thing. Now you're spending like $300 on one video game. And yeah, they were just releasing too many games in quick succession. They would release a mainstream game, and then they would release like a spin-off title, and just like over and over. And then, yeah, we had Rock Band, we had Guitar Hero, and now we got Rocksmith. But Guitar Hero eventually faded into obscurity because people were just overwhelmed with how many of these fucking games there were. Let's have a look at this one. Halo 3. Never got into Halo. I'm one of those heathens that never actually played the Halo franchise ever. I had Halo Reach for a brief time. I played like 2 or 3 missions of it, and I got fucking sick of it. I never got into Halo, ever. I never understood the appeal. Oh yeah, DJ Hero, I recall. Guitar Hero is to games as Star Wars to horror movies. Instant oversaturation. Yeah, absolutely. Very good comparison. So, you know, we have a video game saturation problem now, wherein there are too many sequels, and there are too many games that are the same kind of thing. You know, there's too many battle royales, there's too many this, that, and the other. There's too many new games coming out where I'm just like, I don't care if you're announcing a new game, because I know it's going to be, like, there's too many live service-y kind of games. I'm just expecting those new games are going to be carbon copies of the other shit we're already aware of. I now look forward more to like lower budget indie titles or like mid-tier titles than I ever have for a AAA game, because they're more original, they're more interesting, and it's like it's actually something to look forward to rather than being saturated with, yeah, another FPS sort of thing. And there was a thread on Twitter talking about how I'm going to keep referencing back to Twitter, sorry. There was a thread on Twitter about, I've lost my Kotaku article now, there it is, about how anime has the same problem. And I don't watch anime, but I get exactly where they're coming from with regards to not just video games, but here we go. They posted this thing. I want fewer anime by more animators on higher wages. Feel like 95% of the series that debut each season are totally forgotten within months of airing, and that's a sign that too much is being made, which is entirely relevant to the video game industry. We're constantly getting new big budget games thrown at us all the time. It also applies to the situation with the superhero movies, which thanks to the pandemic we got a bit of a break. That's one of the positives, I guess. We got a bit of a, you know, a bit of a chill moment for a while, and then eventually Disney Plus happened, and now we've got the the comic book TV shows thing, and we're going to be leaning more into more comic book movies as time goes on, and as, you know, pandemic situations ease off a little bit. But yeah, you've got that problem in the movie industry, in the film industry. Too many comic book adaptations and too many video games in the video game industry just constantly getting thrown at us, to the point where if somebody says to me, have you played this latest game? It's like, well, I don't know. There was another game last week you were playing. Like, you're telling me you played the brand new game last week, got through enough of that to get onto the next game that came out this week. How do you have the patience? And these are people talking to me about this, and they've got like full-time jobs. They've got a packed life, and they're going through all of these fucking... I just don't get it. Cycles back around to the TikTok thing. I think there's a serious issue with... and I think the game industry and the movie industry lead very heavily into this. They pander very heavily to this idea of short attention spans. You know? I don't think it's necessarily that everyone on the planet has ADHD, for example. But I think there's certainly a demand for more and more games and more movies and all this kind of thing. To the point where the companies, of course, are just pandering to it, and we're getting lesser products for it. We're getting more products, but they're inferior. They're worse products. Arguably. You could ask someone. But anyway, I'll ask someone who watches this shit. Anyway. Get flipped off. There you go. Thunder Force feels like the jump the shark moment for superheroes. What's Thunder Force? Marvel is doing TV shows, shorter episodes. I mean, I don't disagree with the notion of shorter episodes. I'm watching, say, Castlevania at the moment, and it's great that the episodes are like 20 to 30 minutes in length, and the seasons aren't tremendously drawn out. Like, remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s, maybe even prior to this, where a season of a TV show was like 24 episodes. And, you'd get a new episode every week, and then you'd get a bit of time off. And then there'd be another season, another 24 episodes. And it's just like, it was a different form of saturation, right? Where, they wanted you to be hooked on this show for a long period of time so they could just keep churning out more episodes. You didn't really care all that much about the specific quality or flow of the plot or anything like that. It was just you got to see your favorite characters doing more adventurizes. And yes, Alucard is absolutely aesthetic. Well, here's the thing. Is it technically anime? Was it produced in Japan? I'm going to be pedantic. There's a flex for you. And have a good one, Broken. Thank you so kindly for hanging out. And yes, Alucard absolutely is fucking aesthetic. Gorgeous. Gorgeous man. Absolutely stunningly, unreasonably good looking. Good God. Anyway, coming off that tangent for a minute. Call of Duty 4, that just feeds back into what I was talking about before. But yeah, Call of Duty 4, honestly, quite frankly, did kick off the current... Have a good one, Fox. Did kick off the current really obsessive trend of first-person shooters. Like, FPS already existed. Doom definitely set the standard for a good long while there. But then Call of Duty 4 happened, and I feel like the popularity of FPS skyrocketed, And now it's just obscene how many FPSs are out. Like, if someone announces a new game and it's revealed to be an FPS, I just don't care anymore. I don't, like, even if the game looks cool as fucking hell, if it's an FPS, I'm going to dismiss it. I just don't give a shit. There's too many of them. Used to be 26 episodes, so in a 52-week year, you could have one new and one repeat. Oh, okay. There you go, Solace. Thank you. You were in Mizzy's stream the other day, and she was saying she wouldn't do a hot tub stream because she doesn't have the space, and today she streamed a tiny blow-up pool. But yeah, obviously, like, the way that TV and streaming services, the way we consume entertainment has shifted quite dramatically. So, and this is the thing, again, comes back around to the saturation thing. We've got entirely too many shows constantly happening. Multiple different formats, multiple different streaming services. Used to be you would pay an expensive premium once a month to get like Foxtel, which would have a whole bunch of different services on it. Then we had Netflix crop up, and all of a sudden we got tons and tons of different shows on one service that is like a fraction of the price. But then everybody else got onto that idea, and they started releasing their own streaming services, and now all the content is fractured again, and you're paying exactly the amount you were before for Foxtel for numerous different streaming services. It's ridiculous. The way this system works is fucking ridiculous. There's more and more content that you have to pay more and more money for that nobody could possibly have all of the money for at any reasonable point. It's just, yeah. You saw some post about how Ben Shapiro thinks Home Depot is the last bastion of manliness. Yes, I saw the video of him and his little plank of wood. Little 8-second video. I now own this plank of wood. What are you going to do with it, Ben? What are you going to do with that plank of wood, Ben? That whole thing was a mess. Anyway, coming back to not Call of Duty. Well, yes, Call of Duty, but that's not really. Super Mario Galaxy, never got into Mario until Odyssey, to be honest with you. The Orange Box, I do recall Portal being a hugely influential thing, and then obviously Team Fortress 2 took off, and Half-Life Episode 2 just led to a bunch of people speculating on when you'd get Half-Life either Episode 3 or Half-Life 3. Anyway, Mass Effect was an interesting one. I do recall that the origins of Garrus Thirst began properly in 2007, but it wasn't until the release of Mass Effect that it would become a fundamental pillar of BioWare's future. I think it was right around... No, it was 2009, I think. Or just before 2009. Oh, yeah, here we go. The Pandemic and BioWare had merged a couple of years prior under a $300 million deal organized by John Riccitiello. Riccitiello returned to EA as CEO in early 2007, but 2 years later, Pandemic's Brisbane studio closed. 1,500 employees would ultimately lose their jobs. And EA would go to... BioWare would go to EA, which obviously influences the way that BioWare has been going as of late. Haven't been particularly impressed with anything BioWare has put out in recent years. Well, it's about how 2007 video games changed everything. Treadmill has been set up and it works. Fantastic. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, didn't really get into Pokemon at any point. Bioshock, I do recall Bioshock being quite a big player in things in 2007. And obviously we've played through it now, so we kind of, that's what you mean about the clickbait. I'm not sure what you get. EA should have stuck to sports. Well, I mean, they make a significant ton of money on sports as well. They still do their sports things. But yeah, we've had to deal with Andromeda and Anthem. But EA seems to be the company that kills studios. You know. People still meme about how slow Diamond and Pearl was. EA Sports, it's in the trash. But yeah, Bioshock definitely is one of the few FPSs that I actually enjoyed. Clara, how you doing? Welcome in. What's going on? And then we have the one that really honestly speaks to me the most here, is Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed, the first one, the very first one. What made me so intrigued by Assassin's Creed was that it was so different to anything else I'd played. Even knowing this point here, born out of the Prince of Persia series. Like, Assassin's Creed was... I think the game design philosophy was we need a game that's like Prince of Persia, but we own the entire rights to the license. Because EA, not EA, Ubisoft, as far as I know, Ubisoft still doesn't own the rights to Prince of Persia entirely. So even though they're releasing their remake of Prince of Persia Sands of Time, as far as I know, the rights still lie with Jordan Mechner, if I recall correctly. So they can only ever do new Prince of Persia stuff with his say-so. I might be wrong on that. But what was really interesting about Assassin's Creed back in 2007 is I had never played a game that played like Assassin's Creed. It was so fresh and unique. Everything about it was distinctly different from anything else I'd played. Even Prince of Persia. And then they went and they milked the franchise to absolute fucking death. And that disappoints me so wholeheartedly. Good lord. I really just... Oh, dude. Sour taste in my mouth. I played the first one most of the way through. I didn't get to the end of it because I think my save bugged out and I wasn't going to do it all over again. I played all the way through Assassin's Creed 2 and then Brotherhood, and then I tried Revelations. They changed too much. I didn't like it. Then I left Assassin's Creed 3, but me and my then partner did buy a copy of it. I think she played more of it than I did. And then, what was I going to say? Then I got into Assassin's Creed 4 for a good bit, because it, had shifted again. It had gone to piracy. Let's go and play pirates on the open seas, and that was fun. Yeah, Assassin's Creed 1 feels like... It kind of feels like it should have been a one-and-done concept, almost. Even if Assassin's Creed 2 did take some very... Like, it did take the good ideas of the first one and polish them quite a bit. But the first game was just particularly unique. And, yeah, of course, if the format works, a company like Ubisoft is going to keep churning them out naturally. And yes, they did make a movie of Assassin's Creed. Yeah, Black Flag was fun. I did play that one, yeah. We did talk about that briefly. They just buy each other out. Wait, who will buy each other out? EA or Disney? I feel like Disney still has the upper hand there. COD 4 is the only other one you think should be on here so far. What about this one, though? What about this absolute banger? Puzzle Quest Challenge of the Warlord. Anyway, I don't think the article was specifically about what's the best video games. I didn't read the actual article. I was just giving my thoughts on various games in there. I think it was more the influence that those particular franchises have had on gaming since 2007. With their release in 2007. 3 Bears, thank you so kindly for the host. And with that being said, though, I am going to take a brief moment, take a leak, get myself another decaf. Or maybe I should get myself... Here's a poll. Here's a quick poll before I go. Here you go, you got 1 minute. And I'm turning off the amethyst votes thing. But I'll set the bit votes to like 1 bit per vote. Here you go, if you want to do additional votes. Here's a poll for you. Should I get another decaf coffee? We're not doing the caffeination. I'm trying to cut myself back on the caffeine. Or the wine. You've got less than a minute to vote. Go now. Do it. Do it now. Do it, you little bitches. Do it. I've got water here already. That doesn't count. Focus on the change everything part. Not even Halo had much of an impact after 3. Why no caffeine? I've been drinking way too much. The recommended daily intake for caffeine is around 400 milligrams. I've been drinking close to that or more than that daily. So I've gotten decaf to try to cull myself off it a little bit, wean myself off it a little bit, to cull my caffeine intake a bit. Water gonna get... I got the water here. There we go. We got a few votes. You folks want me to drink some wine? Okay. I could go a Red Bull, actually. That'd be nice. Dozen or more coffees. That's the thing. It's not vodka. It's water in a vodka bottle. Jesus Christ. I think wine has won, folks. With Draco contributing 32 bits. Thank you for the wines. Anyway. The thing is, right. Okay, so a standard cup of coffee has got 40 milligrams of caffeine in it. Recommended daily intake of caffeine is 400 milligrams as the maximum. Pre-workout's got about 150 milligrams. Full-size can of energy drink typically has about 150 milligrams. I have a tendency to drink both of those in a day, and then coffee on top of that. Usually a large cappuccino, which is more than likely a double or possibly triple shot. So, therein I'm more than likely exceeding. Couldn't spend you 100 fast enough. Thank you, Draco. So yeah, I'm more than likely drinking more than that. We appear to have guests, Voice Beast, thank you so kindly for the host. Regrettably though, I'm going to hit you with a BRB and an ad break, and I'll be back in just a moment. Don't go away, folks. I love your faces. Be kind to yourselves and each other. And thank you, Anonymous Cheer, for the 100 bits. My goodness. Cardigans are fucking based. Also, it's fucking cold. Jesus Christ. You always say why, but when you do, the barbarian calls you bourgeois. Oh, goodness. Hello, Beast. How you doing? It's been a while since you've either commented on one of my videos or chat any of my live streams. Well, I appreciate you being here. I'm freezing. That's how I am. Good lord. Oprah got a new book releasing. What is the deal with Oprah? I remember, like, her retirement was a huge deal years ago. Now it's like she's still kinda here, though. She never really went anywhere. She just pops her head in every now and again. Zany Lee, how you doing? What's going on? Connecticut is no joke when it comes to the weather. We talked about Connecticut a little while back, I think, with regards to the trans bills. That was the sports thing, though. Why do I still have this open over here? I got a Chrome window open talking about moral panics. Anyway, shall we get into some news, because we haven't done much news tonight. How's about this one? Oh, I got a few stories here. Okay, here we go. We'll do this one. It's either hot as hell, or it's cold as hell, or it's pouring and hailing. Oh, well, that's great. You don't really know who Oprah is. How do you not know who Oprah is? Genuinely, that's a weird statement for me to say, but, like, honestly. Feels kind of like one of those things where everyone should know who Oprah is. But whatever. Oh, you're Danish. That might explain it. Even then, though. Let's have a look at this particular story here. So, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the concept of the separation of church and state, right? It applies to the US, it applies to the UK, I think. It applies here in Australia, most certainly. And the Prime Minister of Australia, the person who leads the country, should take that to heart when they enter office. They should take that notion to heart that, separation of church and state means, keep your personal religious beliefs out of policy. Well, Scott Morrison tells Christian Conference he was called to do God's work as Prime Minister. Does that perchance kind of ruin any faith you might have? To kind of a interesting choice of words there. Ruin any faith you may have in him as a politician? Oh yeah, what a... That is so close to a different kind of salute. Just saying. Anyway. Australia's first Pentecostal PM says he practices the tradition of laying on of hands while working and calls misuse of social media the work of the evil one. Oh my god. This man is leading our country. Scott Morrison asked a national conference of Christian churches to help him help Australia while revealing his belief that he and his wife Jenny have been called upon to do God's work. This fucking terrifies me. As a transgender lesbian. Anyway. In a video that has emerged of the Prime Minister speaking at the Australian Christian Churches Conference on the Gold Coast last week, Morrison also revealed that he had sought a sign from God while on the 2019 election campaign trail, and that he had practiced the evangelical tradition of the laying on of hands while working in the role of Prime Minister. What the fuck? That's all I've got. That's the only reaction I can even give, is like, what the fuck? Laying on of hands. He's laying hands. Just the phrase laying on of hands is incredibly creepy, even without the religious context. He's like Trump, but somehow dumber. Yeah, I'm going to be completely 100% honest with you folks. Scott Morrison strikes me as the kind of man who has like a 73 IQ. Genuinely. He's a good orator, for the most part. He's able to just espouse some bullshit. But it's like there's like a mouse in his brain just clinking together two rocks to keep him functioning. I realize I sound a little bit like, what's his name? I've forgotten his name now. The white supremacist guy who was a chef who went into politics. But yeah, even a moron can put sentences together to sound smart. Not Vosh. We'll come back to the trans thing in a moment. I'm always happy to talk trans stuff. He also describes the misuse of social media as the work of the evil one, in reference to the devil, in case anybody somehow missed that, and called on his fellow believers to pray against its corrosive effect on society. Meanwhile, he recently started posting updates, just general political updates, COVID updates and things like that, exclusively to Facebook. So would that imply, Scott Morrison, that you're using the work of the devil to get your political efforts through the system, or whatever it is? Anyway, hello Duchess, how you doing? Anywho, let's continue. Yeah, I was going to say I like the wordplay there. While Australians are familiar with non-evangelical Christian beliefs of John Howard, Kevin Rudd, Tony Abbott and Malcolm Turnbull, Morrison is the first Pentecostal Christian to hold the office. I honestly don't know what the difference is between Pentecostals and other religious folks. Well, I suppose non-evangelical is probably the important thing there. We've known that Scott Morrison is quite out and out religious. We've seen him at like Hillsong conferences and things like that. Anyway, Morrison has been open about his faith, inviting journalists to join the Horizon Church in the Sutherland Shire during the 2019 election campaign, and describing his subsequent victory as a miracle win. Footage of Jesus Christ. Of a miracle. Oh my god. Footage of him calling for prayers for state and territory leaders during the COVID pandemic has also emerged. Prayers do fuck all. Action works. Prayers do fuck all, right? They don't do anything. I hate to insult anybody who likes to pray or what have you, but use that time you're spending praying to actually do something about the circumstance. Anyways, the Prime Minister travelled to the conferences from Sydney using his taxpayer-funded aircraft. Remember that reminds me of the story of, was it Copeland? Kenneth Copeland? Or someone who was saying to his audience that he needed more donations to fund a new aircraft? One of the televangelicals. I've forgotten exactly what the situation is. But one of the big televangelists put out the word, we need more funding. It was Kenneth Copeland. Because he couldn't go on a conventional airliner because he might be confronted by demons inhabiting the souls of civilians. Oh my. These people are a fucking mess, dude. Anyway. No video of the address has been promoted on Facebook or official pages, nor has his office released a copy of his speech, as usually occurs when he is speaking in his official capacity as Prime Minister. Yeah, like Creflo Dollar as well. Dude, the guy's name is Dollar. Creflo Dollar. I fucking can't stand evangelicals. Anyway. The video, which was broadcast by Vineyard Christian Church, then distributed by the Rationalist Society, gives rare insight into Morrison's personal religious practice and the beliefs that guide him in the rapidly growing Pentecostal movement in Australia. Asking the audience for their help and prayers, Morrison reveals that when he became Prime Minister, his pastor gave him the advice on election night to use what God has put in your hands to do what God has put in your heart. Scott, you've got to run. Talking about a difficult time during the final fortnight of the election campaign, Morrison shared a story of asking God for a sign before visiting the Ken Duncan Gallery on the New South Wales Central Coast. I must admit I was saying to myself, you know, Lord, where are you? Where are you? I'd like a reminder of that sarcasm. I can't deal with, I can't deal with their delusions. It just drives me up the fucking wall that these are the people that are leading the country. These are the people that are the passing policy. They are literally just speaking into the aether and expecting something to respond to them regarding critical social policy. Yes, God, I want you inside me. Everyone bottoms for God. I'm just gonna nibble on my nuts. Anyway, and there right in front of me was the biggest picture of a soaring eagle that I can imagine, and of course the verse hit me. The message I got that day was, Scott, you've got to run to not grow weary. You've got to walk to not grow faint. You've got to spread your wings like an eagle to soar like an eagle. He told the conference that he and Jenny have been grateful for the amazing prayers and support sent from Christians across the country, and shared with the crowd that he had practiced the laying on of hands, a Pentecostal tradition of healing and encouragement of faith. God, I hope. And this is the thing, right? This is the thing that annoys me. He would absolutely take credit for the response Australia has had to COVID, but at every single turn he has fucked things up. And it is only through the actions of the states themselves of Australia that COVID has managed to have been kept under wraps at all. Like, been kept... what's the phrase I'm looking for? You know, the general response to COVID in Australia has been handled by the states, not by the Prime Minister. Right? And I guarantee you he would take credit for it and probably say, it is God's blessing that COVID has not treated us like it has the United States or whatever. Spread like an eagle to soar like an eagle. Yeah. Phrasing needs work. Needs workshopping. Take that one back up to heaven. Okay, so here's where it gets fucking creepy, dude. Here is where it gets fucking creepy. I've been in evacuation centers where people thought I was just giving someone a hug. I don't ever want a hug from Scott Morrison. And I was praying and putting my hands on people, laying hands on them and praying in various situations, he says. Referring to a visit to Kalbarri in the Pilbara in the wake of Cyclone Saroja. Please don't touch me, Scott Morrison. The bar is on the fucking ground, it is. And like, there are numerous instances of Scott Morrison touching civilians, and every single instance of it. Does she look comfortable to you? Every instance I've seen of Scott Morrison touching another person, they look like they don't want his hands near them. Scott Morrison, please stop laying your hands on people. They don't like it. Do we have to show you the fucking milkshake video? Yeah, I agree, Draco. Some stranger walks up, puts their hands on me and starts praying I'm going to become hostile. Absolutely. Doesn't matter what their beliefs are, you know? Anytime, Morrison touches someone, that's harassment. Like, he's the Prime Minister of the country. He should not be encouraging his constituents to touch people. That's what he's doing. Any message the Prime Minister sends to his people is a message they interpret as, he did it, that means we can do it. That's how fascism works. Yeah, she looks stiff and unsure, exactly. Might be of the same faith, but personal space and consent are things, absolutely. It's been quite a time, and God has, I believe, been using us in those moments to be able to provide, I feel like that was an error, some relief and comfort and just some reassurance. And we'll keep doing this for as long as that season is. That's how we see it. We are called, all of us, for a time and for a season, and God would have us use it wisely. And for each day I get up and I move ahead, there's just one little more thing that's in my head, and that's for such a time as this, Morrison said in reference to a biblical verse, seen as a call to arms for Christian practice. A call to arms. And people say it's a religion of peace and all that. And then we get to the Nazi symbolism. Look at this. What is this doofy face? Alright. Let me see. I swear there was something else. Anyways, let's keep going. Let's keep reading this because it's actually quite amusing. He was talking about... Oh, hang on, where were we? Talking about the importance of community, Morrison also discusses at length the work of former Chief Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, praising his book Morality for highlighting the dignity and value of each and every human being and the responsibilities that they have to one another. That they have one to another, sorry. So he's a ball bag. I've heard that phrase thrown around a bit. He was talking about community and that you can't replace community with governments, the market, with other institutions. You can't replace the family. You can't replace marriage, you can't replace the things that are so... You can replace marriage. Anyway, you can't replace the things that are so personal and ingrained and come out of us as individuals with systems of power or systems of capital. You know, you cancel out one human being and you cancel community because community is just human beings that God loves and intended to connect us to one another. It's so important that we continue to reach out and let each and every let each and every Australian know that they are important. I don't know where I got leech from. That they are significant and as we believe they are created in the image of God. And that in understanding that, you get the point, he's rambling on. I'm a conformist and cannot fathom a different lifestyle to my own, pretty much. Oh, here we go. He said identity politics was absolutely corrosive threat to society, which negated the value of the individual while promoting tribalism and misunderstanding. Methinks he misunderstands a lot of things about identity. If you look at each other not as individuals, but as warring tribes, you know it's easy to start disrespecting each other. You mean like he disrespected a significant portion of the country when he fucked off to Hawaii while Australia was on fire? During the bushfire season? Beginning of 2020? Was that respectful to the nation of Australia that you were supposed to lead, Scott Morrison? He also draws on conversations he had with his father-in-law about his faith when he started dating Jenny as a 16-year-old. Should have gone to Cancun with Ted Cruz. Yeah, it's fucking amusing and disturbing. I hate this. So much. I compared Morrison to Cruz when Cruz did that. Was it Texas? It's Texas, right? Going through a climate crisis, the likes of which they were not prepared for. Lives were lost. Incredible devastation across the state. And Cruz fucks off. In exactly the same fashion that Morrison did. Countries on fire. People are losing their lives, their homes, billions of animals dead. Like literally over 1 billion animals died. Thousands of acres of land wiped out by the fires. Morrison fox off to another... Fox off? He fox off to another country, doesn't he? He gets the fuck out of the country because he doesn't want to accept the responsibility for it. Why is this such a... Is there a rule book here? Is there a guidebook? For you know, as a politician, here's how you can be an absolute cunt? How do they determine these things? There's gotta be like a list of things to do if the place that you're lording over gets affected by what he would call an act of God. They're likely warring because one is attacking and oppressing the other. Bingo! Yeah, it comes naturally to people of a conservative bent. Absolutely. They've got the money and the power to ignore things. They went to their white privilege meeting where they talk about identity politics, free thinking, cancel culture, and free speech. Anyways. Disrespecting each other, it's easy to start not understanding the person across from you. He'd get very frustrated with me because I couldn't answer all the questions, and I said, Roy, you know, I can't fix the world, I can't save the world, but we both believe in someone who can. This is why I have such a problem with Morrison, is he has routinely used the rhetoric, especially during the bushfires. He said, what do you expect me to do, get out there with a hose? And then there was another time he said something else to the effect of, you know, oh, that's not my job, sort of thing. It's like, no, but you are the leader and you are supposed to guide people in those troubling times. You are not supposed to defer to some deity who is not affecting things physically here on the planet. And that's why I've come here for your help tonight, because what you do and what you bring to the life and faith of our country is what it needs. Early in the speech, Morrison also acknowledges the other members of my band of Christian believers in Canberra, including Brother Stuart Robert, the Minister for Employment. Australia is very secular. It's the thing. It comes back to the separation of church and state thing. A political historian, Judith Brett, said Australians were wary of religion in politics, and Morrison's religious beliefs stood out in the same way that Tony Abbott's Catholicism was out of step with the view of most Australians. Australia is a pretty secular society, and our politics has not been driven by religion as much as it has in the United States. Essentially, Australia is very secular, and the sort of things he is saying, if it was in the 19th century, it wouldn't stand out as being particularly peculiar, where people praying for you and doing God's work was much more part of widespread common sense, even if people weren't particularly church-going. But it makes him seem odd in what is effectively a secular society. But she said the address was contentless and didn't call for any radical religious policy changes on issues like abortion law or same-sex marriage. Doesn't seem to have much policy content. It isn't making him more compassionate to people trying to live on New Start, but on the other hand, he isn't trying to ban abortion, and he is not trying to wind back same-sex marriage legislation. He is not a warrior, not a political warrior. It may be a guiding philosophy, but it is rather nebulous. Final thoughts, folks. So yeah, I mean, the positive there at the very end, of course, is that his religious beliefs are not affecting Australian policy as yet. But I feel like, I mean, this is the thing, right? I get the strong suspicion that Donald Trump, for example, let's use that comparison again. Let's give Donald Trump some attention because we know he desperately needs it to survive or whatever the fuck. A lot of his policy was most certainly informed in some capacity by religious belief. A lot of the people who are now enforcing policies in his wake after leaving as Prime Minister are using religious belief to inform policy changes and things of that nature. But I've never seen Scott Morrison do anything of that sort. And I get the suspicion he's like, I've always had this view of Scott Morrison is that he's one of the most cowardly politicians that I think Australia's ever had. He runs away with his tail between his legs on a fairly routine basis. It's rather amusing how often that tends to happen. Rather than actually ever doing anything or saying anything, he just deflects all the fucking time. That's just my input on it. Anyway, do with that information what you will. May as well have anarchism. Can we have anarchism, please? Can we have a little bit of anarchism with our 4 pounds of steak that Biden said we're allowed to have per year? Which I think actually is a hoax. I don't think there is actually any statement from him on that regard. I don't know where that came from. I think 4 pounds of steak a year. I don't know. What? Yeah, did Biden actually say that? Fact check, here we go. Yeah. So this was interesting. This was amusing. I keep seeing memes about this. And apparently Biden didn't actually say anything to the effect. Bottoms, am I right? Yeah. Yeah, that someone put that responsibility on humanity, exactly. There were people saying that the bushfires started with arson as proof that climate change isn't real. I know. They'll look for any excuse. We need to do a climate change stream at some point. We need to do a global climate change stream thingy. We need to educate ourselves on a bit of climate, I think. Anyway, there was this. No, President Biden has not cooked up any mandates on red meat consumption. President Joe Biden's critics are having a cow. Right into it with the puns. Just right into it. Over a false narrative that his administration is cooking up plans to... It just keeps going. To limit Americans' red meat consumption. Please stop. Just stop. Oh my god, again. Please stop. The beef over the fabricated meat mandates began last week. After the Daily Mail, a British tabloid known for unreliability, do you think, published an article that misleadingly linked Biden's goal of cutting greenhouse gas emissions in half by 2030 with a University of Michigan study that examined how reducing red meat consumption could cut diet-related emissions. What up, Jacoby? How's it going? Biden's team plans to work with agencies across the federal government to address emissions, with the Climate Task Force expected to release sector-by-sector recommendations later this year. Taking a page from the Green New Deal, which targets lower emissions and environmental justice, Biden's recent $2 trillion jobs plans calls for investments of billions of dollars in green infrastructure, renewable energy, sustainability in homes and buildings, and ramped up electrification of municipal fleets, just as automakers are increasing production of zero-carbon vehicles. The Daily Mail article suggested that Biden's emissions reductions plan, which has not even been released yet, may dictate what Americans drive or grill and how they heat their homes. In fact, no one in the administration has called for red meat consumption limits or forcing every American to buy an electric car or electric heat pump. There we go. What's up, folks? How's it going? What's going on? What's the happenings? Welcome in, everybody. Yes, T-Girl, very observant. How'd you get that? Actually, I'm going to run an ad break really quickly, because we're right on the cusp of, the next ad break. Anyway. But yeah, cutting beef would massively cut greenhouse gases. That I'm aware of. The sissies are here. I got that suspicion too. Right as I started seeing all these messages. I'm like, I might as well monetize the trolls. Fuck it. Anyway. Which they're probably not going to see because we still got ad break anyway. or a break in ads, I should say, but we're going to run the ads anyway. But yeah, the beef industry is one of the major components in global warming, climate change. You know, the beef industry is a big player in that. But yeah, for some reason, people on Twitter really believe this idea that Biden is going to try to limit everyone to a maximum of 4 pounds of beef per year or 1 burger a month. What up, Chokin? How you going? I have lovely hair. I know I do. Thank you so kindly. My hair's fucking great. And, this is
welcome back,
tatted
supporter of the
Thank
cause.
you so kindly for the sub, my friend. How you doing? This is incredibly amusing, though, is, the amount of people who have, there's no references to it in here, but I've seen a bunch of people posting tweets on the Twitter, on the shitter, where they're outlining the fact that they're, you know, oh, I can only eat 4 pounds of meat a year, and then they got like a huge steak or whatever, and of course everybody is responding with like destroying your colon to own the libs or something like that. It's just ridiculous. Didn't they just have a scientific breakthrough with breeding cows that produce less methane? Let's have a look. Because that'd be good. Well, I found something from 2019.
Another round.
Oh my god, Winona, thank you for the 400 bits. How are you doing, lovely? What's going on? So here's an article from 2019. Move over methane. Scientists show how we can breed cattle that produce less gassy emissions. I mean, we could just produce less cattle. We could just slaughter less cattle. That'd be nice. How can we reduce the amount of methane in the atmosphere? Breed cows which burp less. Researchers from the School of Animal and Veterinary Sciences have found the genetics of a cow strongly influence the composition of their gut and how much methane they produce. Previously, we knew it was possible to reduce methane emissions by changing the diet, says one of the project's leaders and co-author, Professor John Williams from the Davies Research Center. Hang on. Yeah, stop killing shit, please. But changing the genetics is much more significant. In this way, we can select for cows that permanently produce less methane. The international team of scientists studied microorganisms in the cow's rumen, the first stomach in its digestive system. What we showed is that the level and type of methane-producing microbes in the cow is to a large extent controlled by the cow's genetic makeup. That means we could select for cattle which are less likely to have high levels of methane-producing bacteria in their rumen. Essentially, eugenics for cows, which they were, let's be honest, they were already... Any animal that's not a human being is largely being eugenicized every single day. Sorry. You like this plan, you feel bad, but beef is better than chicken, is better than fish. I like chicken. I'm quite a big chicken head. I eat a lot of chicken. I don't eat a lot of beef, but I do like a burger every now and then. And fish, I do quite enjoy fish. I need to get back into eating more salmon, honestly. If we have lab-grown meat, then there will be no methane produced. Ideally wing, yes, absolutely. And I am absolutely pro-fake meat, pro-lab-grown meat. So, you know. What if people should pet animals more? Yes, please. This is why I have a cat who is fucked off somewhere. I don't know where he is. It'd be good if he was like over there on the bed, being a nice little chilled piece of crap, but he's not. He's not chilling out over there. You go to get wine and go back to cow farts. No, cow belches. Okay? It was about cow belches. Hey, Zaranax, how's it going? Also, lab-grown meat is the same technology that would let us grow new organs, exactly. Very, very based in progress. Oh my god! A hype train is close. Somebody sub or gift a sub or something. Do it now. Because I said so. You got 1 minute and 23 seconds to get a hype train going. Let's do a hype train. Fuck it. I'm demanding it. I'm demanding money. Give me money. Because I do good newsing. I do good stream discussioning. Give me money. Give me... $5 a month! I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do... That was mean. I'm sorry.
Another round.
There we go. Thank you, Binary Split.
Good newsing.
It worked! Yay! It worked. I'm a whammon. I'm one of the Goyles. Call me Scum, thank you for gifting a sub to Cosmic Valkyrie. We're already nearly at Hype Train level 2. Fuck yes! Anyway, you're already a sub. Like sub dom? Or just like a subscriber? Because all of my subscribers are my bottoms. Remember that. I will step on you if I please. Okay? I don't care if you subbed voluntarily yourself or if somebody gifted a sub to you. I am now your dominatrix. And I'm just gonna nibble on these nuts a little bit. Yeah, I'm not just a woman. I'm women. Multiple. I am Legion. Any hoomstedov. We are 6% away from Hype Train level 2 while I peruse through whatever other stories I've got available that we can talk about. Do we want a story? I'm every woman. Oh, I was in the shop earlier. I was in the shop earlier and that song was on the radio and the woman stocking the fresh produce section was singing along with it. That was kind of cute. We are Legion, for we are many. Anywho's, I've got some stories here. You're a quarter woman? Only a quarter? Try being a third woman. I'm at least half woman if we go by my lineage. That's how genetics works, right? It's like if you're born from a man and a woman, you're like half of each. Thereby my gender is technically man-woman or woman-man.
You are now one of us.
Thank you for gifting a sub, anonymous gifted to Romedy Cobb. Thank you so kindly. I'm not doing the sub lounge anymore. Look at this. Look at this. I need to add some fucking cobwebs to that bitch. Just to show that it's really abandoned. Level 1 complete. I'm not super hypers at the moment. Yeah, here's a bit of hypers for you. Here's a bit of sub hypers. If we get to level 3, we'll change the main lights. And then that's it. I've got nothing else. I've got no other lights that I can flash on and off for you. I can't do any other, crazy party stuff. Fellas, is it gay to share half your DNA with a man? I bet you someone actually would unironically say something like that. There are already dudes who are like, oh, fellas, it's gay to let your daughter date a man or something. I don't know. People draw weird conclusions.
You are now one of us.
Conman, thank you for gifting a tier 1 to Toyota Mike. What does Hype Train mean? It means I'm getting lots of subs and bits at the moment. That's what's going on. Give Twitch your money and Abby gets a little bit. I get a little bit of it, not a lot. Not a whole, honestly not a whole lot. I don't get a ton from Twitch. Twitch is robbing me, the proletariat. Women are carriers of the recessive male gene. Eventually there'll be no males left. It'll just be women. Is it gay to get sick? What was the thing today? There was a new one today. Liquid Steel, welcome to the Rogram. How you going? There was a new thing today. Another fucking thing. What was it? Let me think. I look awesome today. Thank you, Black Jade. For goodness sake, what is it? I can't think of the specifics. I can't think of like the actual wording of it. But there was a tweet, of course there was, saying that it's effeminate if you're at a restaurant and you don't clean your plate, if you don't finish all the food on your plate. If you are eating at a restaurant and you don't eat all the food on your plate, apparently that's effeminate. That's womanly. That's girly shit. Fellas, is it gay to be full? What the fuck? It's the not recessive gene? Regressive gene. Yeah. A guy I used to work with argues that anal sex with a woman was gay. Yeah, I've heard that true. I've heard that too, I should say. Hello, Mistress Fox. How's it going? Full of dick. Eh? You just saw that meme? Can you link it to me by any chance? Because it's just the dumbest shit. What is with Twitter and having the dumbest fucking takes? It's great for content. Yeah, fellas, is it gay? Are there any that actually, No, these are really, like, ridiculous ones. No, like, what we want is, somebody actually suggested this on Twitter recently. Like, you could search certain keywords and it would bring up a bunch of shit that was basically, fellas, is it gay? To XYZ. Because the way these tweets are always phrased apparently carry certain keywords. Not the meme tweets, but like the genuine opinions of certain people. But, I mean, you probably could just literally... Hang on. Here's an idea. Is it gay to ask this question? Yes. Fellas, is it gay? Is it gay? Here it is. Bingo bango, we found it. No real man is taking restaurant leftovers home, not finishing your plate is kind of feminine. Fellas, is it gay to be full? Is it gay to have enough food in your stomach that you don't want to continue eating? We've got less than a minute to get that hype train to level 3. I don't know. I mean, I'm okay if you don't. It's alright. You don't have to. Here's a poll for you for the next 2 minutes, which is going to overwrite the hype train. Like, the hype train's still happening, but you can't see it now. Fellas, is it gay to be full? Keep in mind, this is one of the gayest streams on Twitch, so, you know, if it is gay to be full, if you happen to get full and feel particularly gay, then fine, perfect. And if you don't think it's gay to be full, if you get full and you're like, well, no, I'm actually rather heterosexual about this whole experience, that's fine too. This is a sexuality inclusive space. It doesn't matter what your sexuality is, as long as you're not super straight. Go fuck yourself. Cool, I got a choo-choo emote. Hype swipe. Getting your first dose of Michelle Pfizer today. Not excited to feel like shit, but you're excited to get it over with. I can understand that. I don't know when I can get my vaccination. I'm waiting, but Australia's vaccine rollout leaves a lot to be desired. And if I'm not mistaken, we do have a story about the vaccine rollout, actually. Where is it? I'm sure there was some news story about today's vaccine rollout. It's only gay on Wednesdays. Dude. Mine, I feel like I've gotten like a cut under my nail or something. Oh, that hurts. Don't get any fucking citrus in that like I did last time. Did I tell you that story? Oh no! Harundo, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I forgot that I made my bot time out anyone who says super straight. Fuck. Nobody says super straight. You'll get timed out for a second. Oh, that's dumb. It's hilarious, but it's dumb. Mostly Drake. Wait, why didn't it work? I wonder if the bot's got a cooldown. Fellas, is it gay to be full? Yeah, it's hella gay. Hella gay to be full. It can't time you out. Oh yeah, mods can't time out other mods. Oh my gosh. That's fucking amazing. Is it gay to be a mod? In this stream, yes, it absolutely is. We're still sitting on this. Yes, folks, in this stream it is incredibly gay. To be a mod, enjoy that. No, why can that not... Can you, like, stop? There we go. What is the main or national dish of Australia? Chicken palmy, mate. Chicken fucking palmy. Good cunting parmigiana. Or it's either a chicken parmigiana, which is just the most delectable thing in the world, or hello Meggie, how you doing? Or I can't really put this to a vote because, you know, it wouldn't really make much sense. Or the pavlova. How you doing, Meggie? What have you been up to? The pavlova, the pav, that That is Australian cuisine. Excuse me. That is cuisine, friends. That is Australian culture. It can be too sweet. I will concede. It needs a few sour fruits to really even it out. Like if you're gonna do pavlova, you've got to have a few things like the kiwi fruit on it. Blueberries aren't really sour. Strawberries. You gotta have a more, you gotta have a more expanded palate. I've seen some blackberries on this one. I've seen some pavlovas where they go entirely with the sweet fruits, and then you got the whipped cream, and then, yeah. If you go too far with all the sweetness, it becomes overwhelming. But if you start with the pavlova base and you add some of the more sour fruits, it can even out a bit. Wish you could try food from all over the world. Yeah, that'd be good. I want to know. I want to go over to, like, China. Or Japan. Go to China and try actual Chinese food. Go to Japan, try actual Japanese food. Things like that. Things that I've tried here in Australia that are, either Asian or Asian inspired, or other regions of the world where I've tried Mexican food. I'd like to try actual Mexican food prepared by Mexican people, rather than going to a white-owned business that has a Mexican theme to it. I don't know if chicken parmesan is actually Australian. I doubt it actually is. But you go anywhere in Australia, any restaurant, virtually any restaurant has got a chicken parmesan option. Japan is good? So I've heard. I've been to, like, teppanyaki and I've had sushi. That's about the extent of my Japanese dining experience. So, went to China for a week for an exchange program. Besides noodles, everything you ate there was completely unknown. That sounds like a wonderful experience. Quite honestly. It sounds like a tremendous experience to go to another country and try their cuisine without knowing anything, going in blind, basically. Give me a sec. Sorry, I'm just chewing on my nuts. One thing you don't remember what it is, but it's savory and looks like a pancake kind of. Is it a crepe? Could be a crepe. Would definitely recommend Japan. You went all over for 2 months total. Spent a month in Tokyo. It sounds awesome. Had a chance to eat alligator meat, but you got scared. I've eaten kangaroo. I have eaten kangaroo. So there's something. I mean, I think we export kangaroo meat, though. So you can probably find kangaroo in stores in the United States, the UK, wherever. But yeah, I've eaten kangaroo meat. It's kind of like chewier beef, really. It's not that special. Doesn't taste any kind of particularly unique, and it's in every supermarket. A lot thicker than that. I'm not sure then. I wouldn't mind trying alligator or croc meat at some point, or koala, but I feel like I would get actively dumber if I ate koala meat. Pretty standard out. It's pretty lean but gamier. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Yeah, kangaroo meat's definitely gamier. Yeah. It's got a certain... I mean, I wouldn't mind trying it again. I haven't tried it particularly seasoned. I had it with, usual, like, mashed veg kind of thing with some gravy. You might catch chlamydia if you ate koala. I don't know if you can eat koala, actually, on that note. Yeah, koalas quite literally are effectively born with chlamydia. It's ridiculous. It's honestly fairly amusing how people treat koalas as though they're some kind of sweet, cute, adorable little animal, and then you look into just this laundry list of problems koalas have. They have smooth brains, for the record. They're very, very dumb animals. Koalas be fucking. Kangaroo goes well in stews and definitely best pressure cooked. I'll take that into mind. That's a good idea. What about drop bear meat? Funny that you think any Australians ever tasted drop bear meat. Many drop bears have tasted Australian meat, though. Do not fuck with drop bears. It's not worth it. You can't win. Now that'd be koalaism. It's the truth. There was a story about... Well, I mean, here's another miserable story about the fucking shootings in the United States. Why are people shooting people so often? That's not what I wanted, though. We were talking COVID a minute ago. We were talking about how terrible of a person Scott Morrison is. And yeah, here's this article that we just looked at a minute ago about the Scott Morrison telling the Christian conference he was called to do God's work as Prime Minister. We already covered that. But there was something about Australia's COVID response. Excuse me. Where is it? Here we go. If I click on COVID-19, will that give me stuff? Here we go. Wait, there's a McDonald's incident? Tell me about the McDonald's incident, please. Yeah, good old Scummo. Thoughts, wishes, prayers particularly. He was talking about how he was chosen by God to run for Prime Minister. If anyone doubts the existence of drop bears, yeah, the Australian Museum has got a lot of information on them. Well, I think we actually looked at this already. The drop bear legend tells of a large, arboreal, predatory marsupial related to the koala that drops on its prey. Around the size of a leopard or a very large dog with coarse orange fur with some darker mottled patterning as seen in most koalas, the creature is told as a heavily built animal with powerful forearms for climbing and holding onto prey. It lacks canines, using broad, powerful premolars as biting tools instead. They're real, they're out there, and they're fucking terrifying. Quite frankly, the fact that we even know of them at all, they are stealthy monsters. Okay? It speaks to the fact that there are some very, kind of the croc hunter, Steve Irwin types out there that are far bolder than he ever was to be able to brave drop bear territory and live to tell the tale. They are terrifying. Yeah, probably good. Yeah, that's a good point. Not a good idea to experiment if you don't have access to a hospital if needed. So you would probably have to consider going, if you were going to go and try different cuisines, first of all, make sure you don't have any allergies. And second of all, I would say go with someone who you trust who could potentially get you to a hospital if need be. Oh, the rumor he shit himself in a McDonald's, yes. It's kind of like the Caitlyn Jenner shit her pants at a university dorm party thing. Where it's like, we don't know how true it is. I think it is true with the Scott Morrison thing. The Caitlyn Bennett thing is a little bit more iffy. We're not 100% sure. It just looks like it was her. Because you can't see the girl's photo. Can't see the girl's face in that particular photo. But still, Thoughts on Caitlyn Jenner running for governor in California? The only thing I have to say is that, I probably wouldn't agree with the vast majority of her policies. But I have noticed a significant number of people dead-naming and misgendering her in the wake of this, as they are wont to do. They're going to do that anyway. And I would just say, do not, even if you disagree with everything she says politically, do not do that because it shows disdain for the trans community. It shows disdain for, any other trans people in your life, for example, if you are dead-naming and misgendering someone as a punishment for who they are, or for what they believe, or what have you. That shows that at any moment you could use that kind of thing to weaponize against trans people otherwise. Clara, there you go. That's my only thoughts on it. I don't know of her particular policies she's running on. But I largely believe, she's still an extremely privileged person at the end of the day. And she leans Republican, of course, which means I'm more than likely not going to agree with her policies. I'll have a look later and we can talk about it tomorrow night if you want. In more detail. But here's the thing. On the Sydney Morning Herald, Australia's daily COVID-19 vaccine rollout progress revealed. Our vaccine tracker data center now includes more detailed data about the COVID-19 vaccine rollout, providing readers with more timely and more granular information. The initial version was updated weekly in line with health department updates. There are now daily data updates on the vaccine rollout, and our tracker will be updated accordingly. It now shows how many people have been fully vaccinated and how the vaccine rollout has progressed over time at state, territory, and national levels. The data is quite complicated and there are some things you should know about it before you dive in. Why counting COVID-19 vaccine doses is more complex than counting cases. In New South Wales, a resident tested positive for COVID-19 around this time last year. That test result... if a New South Wales resident, sorry. Yelville, how you doing? How's it going? If a New South Wales resident tested positive for COVID-19 around this time last year, that test result would have been added to the state's daily cases tally. The vaccine rollout is not as clear-cut. The New South Wales government vaccinates some people while the federal government vaccinates others. Those figures are tallied up separately, so to get the total number of vaccine doses administered in New South Wales, the totals from both data sources need to be added together. As it stands, there have been 192,336 doses administered in New South Wales by the New South Wales government and 381,556 in New South Wales by the Commonwealth through its aged care program and GP rollouts. 573,892 all up. Where were we? Simply wish Caitlyn Jenner didn't exist. Hate the people misgendering her. You don't like her, but that doesn't take away from her being a woman. You hate that this is a conversation. I agree. 100% agree. And like I said before, you know, if you misgender one of us, you misgender all of us. If you dead name one of us, you dead name all of us. It's an unfortunate thing where it's like if you call a particularly I can't make this comparison. If you were to say of a person of color who is particularly a reprehensible person that they are a bad, and then use a slur or whatever, you're using that terminology to refer to them by their race, and thus you're diminishing them to their race, and thus you're saying that's how you feel about all of that race. And a lot of people don't have this concept in their heads for some reason. That, you know, if you call one person this thing, you're referring to all people by that thing. Also, yes, you got away with the vehicular manslaughter thing. Seems better with seafood. Not sure if started outgrowing it. You can definitely outgrow allergies for sure. Tried oysters for the first time. Had a really bad reaction while you're on vacation. That would be the thing that would scare me the most about going on vacation. Like, I want to go on a holiday at some point in my life, but I'd be terrified of, like, I don't have any known allergies now, but I haven't tried every food on the planet, and it could be entirely possible that I will try something that I, might be allergic to. Yes, perfect point, Meerkat. Caitlyn Jenner most likely won't see it, but your trans friends, family, co-workers, acquaintances, etc. will, especially if they're closeted. And this also comes back around to the tweet she posted in response to someone whose name eludes me at the moment. Where she was... Where is it? Let me find it first. Hang on. Where is it? Here we go. So, there was this article a couple of days ago. Joy Behar apologizes for repeatedly misgendering Caitlyn Jenner, and Caitlyn Jenner says, "Don't sweat it. I'm not about cancel culture. I know where your heart is. California has bigger issues than pronouns." So even the woman herself, and I said this, unironically, this attitude contributes to the minimization of trans rights and justifies the anti-trans legislation that's infesting the world right now. Like, to literally just dislike... A lot of people have been referring to Caitlyn Jenner as a trans activist, and that is the one point that I think a significant number of trans people agree on, is that she's not a trans activist. And a lot of the things she's saying are misrepresentative of trans people, and because she is the one trans person that a lot of Republicans are aware of, they're going to take her word as law with regards to trans rights and things like that. So saying stuff like California has bigger issues than pronouns is, completely dismissive of the stuff that's happening all across the United States with regards to trans rights. So, they would rather let some anti-trans legislation through than admit there is a problem with that kind of attitude of, misgendering and dead naming is just a stepping stone to worse things. It's one of those times where the slippery slope argument actually makes some sense. Dragon Ball has Vegeta dead naming Goku all the time. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, keep missing my streams for some reason. Well, I do stream daily, so it's not a huge loss, honestly. This is even worse because she bolsters that message that you earn people calling you by who you are. Exactly. And it shouldn't be an earned thing. It's the most, again, bar is on the ground. If you know a trans person, respect their pronouns and respect their name. That's the bar is on the ground. It's literally on the ground. Most basic thing. Don't mind me if I ask you this. Is it a big thing about this general color of your skin? Not just in my country, but in a number of countries all over the world, yeah. Trans craptivist. Only just occurred to me that Kakarot is Goku's dead name. Where did he get the name Goku from? Because, in the same vein, let's be honest with ourselves here. Goku is just Japanese Superman. Basically. This is... I mean, I'm surely not the only person who's made that connection. You know, Dragon Ball Z is essentially, you know, another interpretation of the Superman mythos. I don't think that's a coincidence, but I mean, using inspiration to create something is just how fiction works. If you call Candace Owens, a black woman who's a white supremacist, a racial slur, that still makes you a racist. It's the same with other kind of bigotry. Often see this in leftist spaces, especially cis men who take opportunities to be misogynistic when the person they're criticizing is a woman. Yeah, see the use of the word Karen. Sorry, I'm fucking itchy. I'm like itching like crazy. My ankle is itchy. I've got to go to the dentist. Yeah, I'll go to the dentist for my itching issues. I gotta go to the chemist or something and see if they've got something for this itching, because it's fucking annoying the shit out of me. My pronouns are she, her. Anyway, Julia, there you go. Yeah, just Japanese Superman, they get compared a lot. It's literally the same thing at the end of the day. Grandpa Gohan found him in a pod, accepted him, named him Goku. There you go. I think it might be slightly different in terms of the whole dead naming thing, because Goku was raised as a child with the name Goku. He didn't know the name Kakarot. And in the same vein, I think Superman sees the name Kal-El. Is he particularly offended by it, where it's different for trans folks who've been raised on one name and then choose their own name when they transition, or they might not, you know. Fucking hating work right now more than usual, having to be your dead name and put up with people shit. Oh yeah, that would be fucking rough. I'm so sorry you have to put up with that, Valkyrie. That fucking sucks. I think Caitlyn is not trans, but it's so weird to me that she came out right after the car crash thing, like she used public goodwill to help her court case. That could be a thing that could be an argument to be made. I don't think she's not trans, but you know, opportunistic timing is definitely a thing. You know, fucking itchy foot, man, Jesus. And it wouldn't shock me to use that kind of opportunistic timing to distract the populace. It happens all the time. But yeah, like I do also agree with Commie's statement of like it's too big of a life decision to be pulling shit like that. But at the same time, we look at Philosophy Tube, who, as far as we know, for about a year or so, I'm gonna run an ad break really quickly. As far as we know, for about a year or so that we got no more ad rolls for the next half an hour. Yeah, Philosophy Tube, Abigail Thorne was closeted for about a year and then came out in January and was performing as a male character, essentially, for all the videos that she produced that year. So she was already transitioning in that process, and then started this year off with her reveal video. Which is not necessarily opportunistic timing, but it's more of like, you know, let's start off the season with the fact that I'm trans, kind of thing. Bit different, I know, but still, you know, the point kind of makes sense. I don't know. Goku shows no negative reaction to being called Kakarot. I think it's filed in his head as that thing Vegeta calls me. Yeah, that's I think it's not really the same thing. Hey Jay, how's it going? He fell on his head as a kid and lost the Saiyan's killer instinct and grew up super dumb. Goku is the original himbo. Hang on. Himbo chart? Is it a himbo chart? What's it called? Yeah, there's this thing. You might have seen the himbo chart, right? Have a good one, Priyansh. From where you are, this isn't a problem. Any of the problems you're facing. Where are you from, Priyansh? Is it gonna work? Show me the fucking picture, for goodness sake. It's not gonna show me because it's a Tumblr page and Tumblr is shit. Here we go. Here's the Tumblr page. Okay. A himbo must be kind, beefy, and stupid. Only kind and beefy, that's just a hunk. Only beefy and stupid, that's just a jock. Only kind and stupid, that's just a decent man. So a himbo has to be kind, beefy, and stupid. And Goku very much strikes me as a himbo. That hair does go blonde when he powers up. True. Kind and stupid is a decent man. I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a distilling of the idea. Thank you for the sub. Well, somebody gifted you a sub, I think. I don't know who gifted it to you, but you're welcome. Enjoy it. Enjoy the emotes. I've got to redo my emotes. I'm going to. Wasn't he raised in the middle of the woods too, I think? I don't recall. It's been a long time since I watched DBZ. Hello, Lemon. How you going? I'm not a decent man either, because I'm a woman. Anyway. You're from India, you live in LA, so you're trying to understand some stuff. Well, I think it probably is still a thing in India. But as far as I know, that kind of thing over in India is probably less accepted. From what I know, I'm not particularly familiar with what's going on over in India with queer rights. So, yeah. And the situation is, of course, in areas where queer rights are being repressed, a lot of people don't think that queer people exist. You know, if there are queer rights in a certain region and they're being repressed significantly legislatively, then a lot of queer folks just go into the closet and stay in there and keep it to themselves. And thus, people in the area do not acknowledge that they exist. I'm getting better daily, glad to hear it. He didn't know about the concept of girls or women until he was like 10. Hello, Nathan, how you doing? There was even a moment in an earlier episode where he was utterly horrified at the fact that Bulma didn't have balls. And that comes
Welcome
back to
back,
Freud's penis
supporter
envy
of the
theory.
cause.
Madam Claire Sentient.
Thanks to @DracoWrath for my sub gift. Was not aware, but good to know.
Wait, what does that mean? 3-month gift subscription courtesy of Draco Wrath has entered month 2. Oh, that's right. A gifted 3 months. That's fucking cool. That is fucking cool. Oh yeah, the India COVID news is fucking atrocious, isn't it? They're set. This is the thing. We should not be setting record numbers of cases in any country in the world. We should not we should be on the downward trend away from COVID, not towards it. Stop shooting back up again. Stop doing that. We don't want that sort of nonsense. Anywho's, might have a vodka cruiser. What flavor you got? You know there are blueberry cruisers? They're very hard to find. There are only certain establishments that will sell blueberry cruisers. They're not bad. They're not bad. Anywho's, what should you do first about your second dose of the vax? Is it gonna force feminize you? Even if you're already feminine, is it just gonna like make you even more feminine? Because I heard they're putting estrogen in the vaccines to make you super feminine, hyper fem. Yeah, I know they're facing COVID worse than anything at the moment. It's pretty ridiculous. There's a bunch of news about that. Including... Why did I type news Google? It's Google News. Including Australia trying to contribute. Australia considers humanitarian support options as COVID-ravaged India gasps for oxygen. India is grappling with a COVID-19 war and the government's now restricting criticism. Interesting. Let's not talk about the government of India and what they're doing with regards to COVID. Let's just talk about the COVID situation in general. They ran out of oxygen. Oh, like literally out of like oxygen tanks? Is that what you mean? Australia considers humanitarian support options as COVID-ravaged India gasps for oxygen. Reviewing sending ventilators and oxygen supplies to India as the country's health system buckles under the pressure of surging COVID-19 cases. Pretty blurry. Welcome to the Rogue Room. Australia is considering providing further humanitarian assistance to India as the country grapples with a devastating surge in COVID-19 cases. Health Minister Greg Hunt has confirmed the federal government's National Security Committee will meet on Tuesday to review measures to support India's health system as it buckles under the mass outbreak. The country is suffering critical oxygen shortages. Dude, I didn't have that much to drink. Fucking hell. Critical oxygen shortages, with hospitals forced to turn away patients as the country is ravaged by the virus. India on Monday once again set a global record for its rise in daily COVID cases, recording 352,991 cases. Mr. Hunt said further support measures to assist India would be considered, describing the situation as a health crisis on an unimaginable scale. India is literally grasping for oxygen. Their particular request for assistance with regards to the physical supply of oxygen, and that will be one of the things we are looking at. Mr. Hunt said Australia would be would review sending ventilators and oxygen supplies to support India's fight against the virus, indicating states have been contacted to determine spare capacity. We are in a position to be able to supply non-invasive ventilators. We are in a strong position on that front because we don't need them at this point in time. Equally, we have reached out to the states who actually carry the suppliers of oxygen to see whether there is any spare capacity that might be provided. So there we go. There's a bit there. A bit about that. Not good. You know, we were all sort of hopeful. We were all keeping our fingers crossed that COVID was on its downward trend on a worldwide scale, and here's India. Unfortunately going through it at the moment, which is not good. And it's looking interesting that interesting? It's looking good that Australia is offering aid, you know, or considering aid. Hopefully we can help. It looked like there was mention of other countries like Europe offering help as well. So that's a good thing, you know. Hello, J Steel. How's it going? What's going on? Heard vaccines cause autism. Can being vaccinated make you even more autistic? Yes. You'll get maximum autism and you'll become a superior autistic. Whatever the fuck that means. I don't know. Can someone explain sword lesbian? I'm a lesbian who has a sword. That's it. Level 2 autism. Level up. Plus the different and new variants of COVID-19. Yeah, which, you know, if people are already getting vaccinated, people are already getting treated, I think a new strain is likely to be not as effective. I don't know if it's going to be less or more effective if a new strain arises. But in countries that are not getting vaccinated and cannot treat their people effectively, then it might make matters significantly worse really quickly. So, yeah, it's the problem we've had with the flu for ages. That's why you got to get your flu shots routinely, because the flu keeps changing. Anyway, let's show off the sword. You want to see my sword? That's alright, this sword isn't TOS. I can show this sword. The great Joshua, I did. Do we have a link to the what's it called? The Josh War? Someone find me a link to the Josh War. Check out my fucking sword. Isn't it glorious? I probably shouldn't lick it. Check this out though. Check this baby out. I want to swing it at someone's head, but it's not actually sharp. The end of it is, I've pointed this out before. Get it? Point. The end of this is legit. If I gave that enough force at somebody, you'd pierce their skin. You wouldn't probably get very deep. But this is Ciri's sword from The Witcher 3. And it looks bomb as fuck. It's not Zirael though. This is the thing. I can't spoil. That's gonna be a spoiler. There is a sword she has at some point in the game called Zirael. And this is not specifically it. This is a dodgy replica though. It's like it doesn't even have any runes on it. But it's fucking badass. How do you meet girls with swords IRL? You join the sword lesbian club. I'm gonna make that my Tinder profile. We were talking earlier about how I don't need to date, you know. I don't need a Tinder profile or anything like that. I'm not interested in dating at the moment. But maybe I should make a Tinder profile specifically to show off my sword and be like, looking for fellow sword lesbians so we can compare our swords. Anywho, there's that. That stays there. It doesn't actually stay at the end of my bed every night, because I feel like I would definitely kick it over. Just starts hanging out at the sword store. Wait, if we have to join the sword lesbian club to meet girls with swords, can I be a straight guy? You can join the sword club. We'll make sword club. I do want to genuinely take up fencing though, which is not the kind of fighting you do with that sword, but I do want to take up fencing. I think it'd be awesome, but it's too far away to justify going to get the lessons. Like it's a solid hour and a half. Yeah, Ro. Thank you for cheering. 100 bits. How are you doing, friend? How are you bloody doing, friend? I love your face. Yeah, the closest fencing near me is like an hour and a half away by car. And I'm like, to do that regularly, and it's like $60 a session. I need to move closer to wherever the fencing is so I can learn. Oh, J Steel? Listen to me right now, friend. Listen to me right now. Let me find this. You want to pick up archery again? That sounds fucking sick. Saber is fun, like lightsabers. Because I know there's a lightsaber training place somewhere nearby. They train kids and stuff. And my mother was thinking we should get the kids into this. I'm fun, thank you, Ren. You're fun too. Let me show you something, J Steel. Please allow me to show you something that I have recently purchased for myself. I am gonna show you fucking something. I am gonna show you what I'll be wearing in the not too distant future. I'm bringing capes and cloaks back, baby. You're damn right I am. It does look dope as hell. It's got a hood. I cannot wait. I cannot fucking wait. Oh, the jeans aren't bad too. It's got a hood. I'm gonna get around in my fucking cape. I am so cringe. I'm gonna be the cape sword girl. Oh god. No fencing. There's a branch called Saber. The styles and swords are different. Oh, I know of sabers. I would love to actually give Saber a go too, because what I've seen of Saber looks really good. Got a gorgeous red cloak with a hood. I am envious. I am tremendously envious. Fencing sword aren't as fun though, like Eastern swords, like Chinese and Japanese ones. Oh yeah. I used to do karate, and they were going to teach us how to use bokken, which is a wooden katana.
Another round.
Oh my goodness, Yarrow.
Great call at Kami_scum.
Thank you for the 1,024 bits, you fucking legend, you. But like, I know for example, Calgar does axe throwing, which is relatively close to where he lives. And I want to get into sword fighting of some capacity for 2060. Oh my god. I am screen capping that. Oh, I didn't even fucking realize that's what you were doing. You legend, you. Can I tweet that, Yarrow? Can I tweet that? Can I show the world that? Can we send TikToks here? I don't much use TikTok. Alright. Got a sword from the circus. You wish you would have kept it. That would have been good. Let's tweak this. Here we go. Here's the tweet. This is commitment to a bit, sir. I have posted it. It is posted. There you go. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Oh, legend. Thank you so kindly. Oh my goodness. Alright. Commitment to a bit. Yep, got him. I saw a samurai sword on sale. It was about $90. Yeah, I've seen like katanas around. Cheap ones. They're not real katanas. Because like if you want to buy a real katana, you're up for over $1,000 usually. For the solid, genuine make kind of stuff that's sharp. You know, it's an investment to get one of those swords these days. Even if it's just a replica, but like a good quality replica, will still set you back more than a few $100s. Accelerating your plans to learn blacksmithing. Do it! Get into blacksmithing. Make me a sword. Fancy Damask steel, I know. Alright, we'll look at one TikTok. Exactly one TikTok. As soon as it loads. Which it probably won't, because TikTok doesn't like to load for me. This is what we get. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
I spilled my tea, and I don't want it to get in the cracks of the couch, so I have some napkins, but I'm also just kind of letting it absorb into my sock, and I'm just gonna take off the socks afterwards, because I don't want it to, I don't have time to get a towel. I spilled my
Oh no! What am I starting to screen? And fuck it, I've already showed you. Yeah, that's a situation. What the fuck do you even do there? And I just showed an article I had sitting there. Yeah, just keep panning back to the dog. I thought she was gonna use the dog, but I might as well show you this. Here's a bit of grim news. Deputy who shot black man appears to mistake phone for gun. Do police even know what guns look like? Recently we had the case of a female police officer, I think, reaching for her taser, grabbed a gun, allegedly, and shot someone to death with what she thought was a taser. You sip the tea straight from the sofa. What you do there is push the liquid towards the front of the couch onto the floor. Ideally, you would think they fucking use guns all the goddamn time. I know. Body cam footage and 911 audio from... Or 911 audio, I should say. Aurora, welcome back. Let there be much rejoicing. That's not the right one. There we go. This is not really worth cheering for, though. You know, this particular article, I would rather not. But anywho. Body camera footage and 911 audio from the shooting of a black man by a Virginia deputy appears to show the deputy mistook a cordless house phone the man was holding for a gun. What, like to his head? Was he talking into a cordless house phone at his head?
You are now one of
Yeah,
us.
right, thank you for gifting a sub to Clara Brooke. Fucking legend, you. Can't give bits. Why not? What, are you restricted from... Oh, yeah, because they're 42069. True. True. So, like, what's your first response? You see a black man holding a telephone to his head. Holding a cordless house phone to his head. If, for example, you're a cop in that circumstance who think this man is suicidal and has a gun to his head, what would your first course of action be in that circumstance? Because me personally... If I was a cop and I was confronted with the idea that, hey, here's a person with a gun to their head willing to kill themselves, I probably wouldn't shoot them dead. Well, I think this person's actually in hospital. I don't know. That wouldn't be my first port of call. Anyways. Hello, JMM, how you doing? Thought he was going to commit suicide. Let's hope by shooting him 10 times, yeah. This is why we should arm black people, trans people, Asians, and so on with compound bows, yeah, right? And swords. Compound bows and swords. Imagine dying because a trained professional mistook your phone for a gun. Imagine that being your goddamn legacy. Yeah, agreed. Stupid bastards are looking for an excuse to execute people with no penalty. And axes. Spotsylvania. Sorry, Spotsylvania. I read it as Spotsylvania. Hello, Avery. How you doing? Spotsylvania County, Virginia. Body cam footage and 911 audio. We already read that bit. Family members said Isaiah Brown, 32, was in intensive care with 10 bullet wounds following the shooting outside a home in Spotsylvania County early Wednesday, WRC-TV reported. Yeah, I read it as Spotsylvania. It is evident that the tragic shooting of Isaiah Brown was completely avoidable, Brown's attorney David Haynes said in a statement Friday. So is he alive? He might be alive. The body camera video shows the deputy arriving at the scene and yelling at Brown to show his hands. The deputy then yells, "Drop the gun," multiple times and appears to say over his radio, "He's got a gun to his head." The deputy then yells, "Stop walking towards me, and stop, before firing at least 7 shots. Why do you need 7 shots? Why did you need 7 shots? Much as I don't like Biden, maybe he had a point about shoot him in the leg. Maybe he had, like, just below the knee, in the shin. If you want to disable somebody to stop them from approaching you with a potential firearm, disarm them, disable them, go for the leg. I don't like the idea of people being shot. I don't want more people being shot. But for God's fucking sake. Anyway. The irony is that vigilantes are illegal because they don't have the training and could hurt people and damage property. Think about that for a minute. Think long and hard about Batman being illegal, but cops aren't illegal. Yeah. We should be social distancing when fighting to death. True. You can keep at a distance in a sword fight. A black man in North Carolina was killed by cops on Wednesday. They won't release the footage. I'm not surprised, sadly. There has been at least a shooting a day for the past few weeks in the United States. In some cases, a mass shooting. It's getting ridiculous. The 911 audio shows Brown was on the phone with a dispatcher at the time the deputy arrived. The dispatcher is heard telling Brown to hold your hands up as the sirens draw near. The deputy in question made multiple basic policing errors and violated established protocols. The deputy was situated nearly 50 feet from Isaiah, was never threatened, and should not have discharged his weapon, Haynes said. 50 feet is fucking ages away. That's fucking ages away. The release of the recordings come after family members of the ACLU of Virginia demanded they be made public. Sheriff Roger L. Harris said in the video that accompanied the release that a special prosecutor had been appointed to the case and advised that the recordings be released. Harris said the deputy who has not been identified has been placed on administrative leave, i.e. a free vacation, paid vacation, and Virginia State Police is handling the investigation. Brown's family told WRC-TV the same deputy had given Brown a ride home from a gas station after his car had broken down. Tasman Brown told the station that when they arrived, the deputy assured him that his brother was in no trouble and had just needed a ride. At some point later, 911 was called. Isaiah Brown is heard on the call saying his brother won't let him into his mother's room in the house and he can't get into his car. The dispatcher tells Brown that his car is broken down and has been towed. Brown then says, "Alright, give me the gun," to which his brother is heard in the background saying no. The dispatcher asks what's going on and Brown replied, "I'm about to kill my brother." The dispatcher says, "Don't kill your brother," and asks Brown multiple times if he's armed. He says no. Brown then told the dispatcher he was walking down the road. The dispatcher asks, "How are you walking down the road with the house phone?" Brown replied, "Because I can." The deputy arrived shortly after and can be heard yelling at Brown on the 911 audio. After the shots were fired, a deputy is heard rendering aid to Brown and instructing the brother to get a first aid kit out of his patrol vehicle. It's unclear whether the deputy knew Brown told the dispatcher he wasn't armed or knew Brown was walking down the street with a cordless house phone. Haynes, Brown's attorney, said the family is also requesting dispatch audio leading up to the shooting to be released. Because I can. How are you walking down the road with a house phone? Because I can. Fuck it. Why not? You can't stop me. Jesus. Anyway, there is a website that tracks every mass shooting in the... Oh, God. I feel like I need access to that information. Because we keep hearing about the fucking cases of shootings in the United States. It's getting ridiculous. Ah, thank you for the hydration. You would think with all that save and serve and protect that police would put the first 3 or 4 rounds as non-lethal rubber bullets. I heard, and I might be incorrect here, Aurora, there you go. I might be wrong here. I don't know how correct I am here. But, as far as I know, rubber bullets are not actually bullets made of rubber. They are rubber-tipped bullets. They can still kill, apparently. But the idea... I might be wrong on this again. I might have gotten this idea incorrect. But what I have been told is that they're actually just a lead bullet that has a rubber tip. Not lead bullets. What are rubber bullets, dickhead? Or are they... No, hang on. No, I think I'm... is it cannon head negotiations? Sure. Yeah. No, hang on. I'm wrong about rubber bullets, sorry. They are a bigger type of shell that are made of rubber, but arguably less than lethal. But they can kill, obviously. But yeah, they should be firing non-lethal rounds. Like, don't they have beanbag weapons? Are there not beanbag guns that are designed specifically to be fired for non-lethal situations? That's what I was under the impression of. I'm going to get rid of my articles because it's the end of the night. It's the tail end of the night. I can't keep going. Is it gay to do shootings? Fellas, is it gay to do shootings? I just love the people that jump to the Second Amendment to argue against gun control. Seems they don't read the well-regulated part out loud most times. Also, the Second Amendment and things of that nature were written back in the times when, you know, a gun, you could fire a single shot and it took you another 10 minutes to load the fucking gun again. It wasn't designed to cater to automatic firearms that fire several fucking dozen rounds a minute. Anywho, can we just stop shooting people? That'd be nice. Hello, Jordan. How you doing? We're talking about how much I don't want people to be shooting people. How you been? How's your day been? What's been going on? Should just rewrite the Constitution for a 21st century reality too while we're at it. Ideally. America. At least Australia took away our guns, which is a good thing. You know. After a certain massacre, what did happen? That whole discussion just never ends. It's one of those never-ending discourses. Doing poops on turfs on Twitter. Fantastic. That's what we love to hear. Best non-lethal is the beanbag gun, but it's like a flintlock pistol one-shot and you're reliant on 20 seconds reloading bowler or net guns. This is the thing, right? It's like they have the options for non-lethal. and yet they carry around a gun that can kill a person, and they fire, 10 rounds at a person, rather than having police, again, should not be executioners. Under no circumstance should a police officer have the opportunity to take a life. They should be there to apprehend and bring people before the court, I should get into more trashing on TERFs on Twitter. It's highly amusing. But then, if I do that, as a smaller account on Twitter, they might bombard my account and get me banned. I don't want that energy. I don't want that energy in my life. Should we do one more story before we go to bed? Or I'm going to bed. You might not. You might not be. What else have I got here? We did have... I had the video up a minute ago, but I've closed the tab now. We had Philosophy Tube's interview with... What's his name? What's his name? I forgot what his name was. Where's my history? Abigail Thorne on coming out as trans, philosophy, YouTube stardom, and optimism. But that's a 42-minute video with Owen Jones. I'll save that for later. I'll watch it myself. You guys can fuck off. You just need to mention the words trans and lesbian in the same post. Ooh, I gotta try that. Oh, I gotta try that. I don't know if I ever have, actually. I have interacted with a few TERFs in responses to other people who've got more influence than I do. And boy, do they hurt when you get hit with them. You ain't resisting anything for a good while. Yeah. If you were to take a beanbag shotgun to the fucking shin, just the shin. Again, go somewhere non-lethal. Go somewhere that's not... If you get a beanbag shotgun shot to the chest or the stomach, that could still kill you from the impact. But if you go for a limb, that'll, knock the wind out of you, basically. No, a gay streamer we could raid. Ooh. A fellow one of the gays. Hang on. Let's have a look at some more Aussie politics bullshit. And yeah, they are trained to kill you. We did do that thing the other night. When was it? We did do that stream the other night where we talked specifically about how the police... We did an ACAB stream. We talked specifically about how US police are receiving training from this dude who's giving them, warrior seminars. Yeah, the Warriors guy. Forget what his name was. Oh, no! God damn it, Botwick! You're not allowed to say super straight in my chat, or the bot times you out for a second. Sometimes random people will request nudes and your response is when they are super straight is to oblige and give them more than they bargain for. Absolute power move. Legendary. Yeah, that warrior training horse shit. I forgot what the name... Oh! David Grossman. David Grossman. We watched some more news' video on that whole subject. That was entertaining. That was good. If incredibly disturbing. Just the absurd notion. A very gross man. Yeah, a very, very gross man. Just the kind of things he was saying. And the sheer fact that police officers, enforcers of the law in the United States, were legitimately taking his advice, taking his words to heart, and using them to enforce and... Not enforce, that's not the word I want to use. I mean, to enforce the law in that particular circumstance, but also to inform their ideology about how to behave in a face-to-face situation with a criminal. It's bizarre, worth the time out. Yeah, police are not warriors, it's not us versus them, it's just supposed to be us. And that was brought up later on in that same video when there was a TEDx talk by a guy who was talking about how the police should be considered guardians, protectors, not warriors. It should not be us versus them, the police should be a part of the us, Anyways, pre-roll ads are back on, fantastic, who fucking cares. Hello NYC Gamer, how you doing? Killers hired to kill killers, yeah, exactly. It's basically what he called them, yeah. And he went through the whole thing of, there are sheep, there are sheepdogs, and there are wolves. And the wolves are the big, nasty criminals. And the sheep... And, yeah, they think we're all potential wolves, yeah, or something like that. Asinine. Absolutely asinine. The police should be a part of the us, but they're the part able to stop arseholes from being arseholes. Ideally. Yes, this is the thing, is, I say defund the police from the notion of... I mentioned in that tweet earlier Whereas, like, defunding, when we say, you know, when people respond to defund the police, it's like, if they defund the police, how will the cops do their jobs? And I was just like, ask how the teachers do it. The teachers do it. Slightly change the subject, the cancel culture really is kind of BS. As 3 times this month, Alex Jones' Infowars was on Twitch. You flag it every time, but it's still going up with alternative accounts. Of course. I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. Is it actually Alex Jones doing it, or is it someone rebroadcasting his stuff? Cops are asked to do way too much. That could definitely be a factor as well, I think. Amid the whole thing. Let's come back to COVID for a second. Craig Kelly, who's a bit of a dickhead. I've forgotten what he did. He did some dumb shit last year. Craig Kelly's Facebook page removed after MP repeatedly spread coronavirus misinformation. Former Liberal MP Craig Kelly's Facebook page has been removed for what the social media giant describes as repeated breaches of its misinformation policy. Facebook has removed former Liberal MP... I thought I was going to repeat the headline again. Controversial page for repeatedly breaching its misinformation policy by promoting unproven coronavirus treatments. Mr. Kelly in February quit the Liberal Party after being given a stern warning about the content of his social media posts by Prime Minister Scott Morrison. He had continued to back unproven COVID-19 treatments against the advice of Australia's medical authorities, prompting concerns his actions were undermining the public health response against COVID. In a statement, a spokesperson for Facebook confirmed his page had been taken down. We don't allow anyone, including elected officials, to share misinformation about COVID-19 that could lead to imminent physical harm or COVID-19 vaccines that have been debunked by physical health experts. Public health experts, the spokesperson said. We have clear policies against this type of content, and we've removed Mr. Kelly's Facebook page for repeated violations of this policy. Mr. Kelly later used another social media platform to accuse Facebook of censoring his political speech. Always with the fucking censorship. I like how it doesn't tell you what other social media platform. He also denied claims he has spread misinformation about COVID-19 treatments. Yeah, well, they always think they're in the right, don't they? It's wrong to censor the free speech of elected officials as it threatens our democracy, he said on Twitter. It's not misinformation to have a difference of opinion. It is misinformation when it threatens the public health of the public. The public health of the public. You dipshit. The idea that faceless people of Facebook... The idea that the faceless people of Facebook are purveyors of all truth is outrageous! Mr. Kelly joined the crossbench as an independent MP earlier this year after his resignation from the Liberal Party. Welcome to the Rogue Room, Xander Jazz. How you going? Yeah, Facebook cannot censor you, Mr. Kelly. More asinine bullshit from Australia's asinine politician. Oh... Kelly acts like a pillock. Facebook stops Kelly. Kelly, why I'm being censored? Yeah, I know. And there was a good comparison recently. Of like people like Senator Kelly. Is it Senator Kelly? People like Craig Kelly, MP Kelly, would be the first to say boycott a company like Disney or whatever for showcasing queer identity or anything of the like. Saying they're forcing an agenda down our throats. Like that guy. Remember that? Did you guys see the guy? I should have brought this story up tonight. We can do it tomorrow night. The bloke who's boycotting Disneyland because they're, or Disney World or whatever it is. Because they are allowing, because it breaks his immersion or whatever. I'm too tired to think of the actual story. But this dude who's, upset that, the people in the costumes have got their tattoos showing or their colored hair showing or any of this kind of stuff. It's ruining my immersion! And yeah, like he's boycotting that company. And yet I guarantee you, when Gina Carano was fired from The Mandalorian, he would have been all over social media complaining how it's cancel culture and all that kind of nonsense. They're the same fucking people. Anyway. You can tell the type of person when they capitalize whole words. Welcome back to the Rogue Room, Splinter. And yes, I am back on Twitch. How you doing? Been having heterosexuality shoved down our throat for millennia. Eat some gay representation. Oh, okay. Do we have a recommendation for a stream where we can harass something frogs? Too many frogs. Delicious gayness. Taste the rainbow, motherfucker. Oh, goodness gracious me. Well, we should be live again tomorrow. Akari Hojisawa. Okay, let's have a gander. You're just my raid recommender at this point, Draco. Spyro Reignited. Alright, sounds good. I have not yet tried. I mean, I think I played the tiniest bit of Spyro Reignited. I have fond memories of Spyro the Dragon. But anywho, we'll go rate. It looks like we've got a VTuber. We're going to rate a VTuber. Sounds badass. Let's go. Funniest of this was disgraced Pastor Haggard admits second relationship with man. I'm assuming he was a homophobic pastor then, I dare say. Anyways, we're going to go rate Akari Hojizawa. I am going to go to sleep because I am very tired. But thank you all for hanging out tonight. You've all been lovely. I love your faces. Be kind to yourselves and each other as usual if you've not already checked out me on all of the social bull nonsense. Yeah, that's a thing. That's a phrase I'm going to integrate into everything now. I should be live tomorrow at the usual Australian Eastern Standard Time of 9 p.m, which is in the schedule down there doing its thing. I'm going to be up on a billboard for a minute if you want me to. And I was supposed to get a video done this month. A new, decent production video. I keep complaining about this. I don't know when it's going to get done, alright? I'm working on it. Just, if you want more content on the level of sports, you're going to have to be patient. Anyhow, I love your faces. I'll see you when I'm looking at you. Have a good one. Mwah. Be kind to yourselves and each other. Buy a t-shirt with my face on it, which is not available yet.